have midweek college baseball action here on the ACC Network Extra, as tonight is a midweek rematch with two familiar foes as we come to you live from Suckin' Diamond here on the farm in Stanford, California. As tonight, the Nevada Wolfpack make their return to the farm to get ready to take on once again the Stanford Cardinal. And hello everybody, it's Philip Hall on the call alongside my partner tonight, Jenna Becerra. And Jenna, Stanford trying to get some get back on the Wolfpack after Nevada took care of them last Monday, putting up a 5-run ninth inning and a comeback win to take down the Cardinal.
Yeah, overall, Stanford does own the series 21-9, and they had won 8 of the last 10. It was the first win since 2002 for Nevada in this series. So Stanford, it's an opportunity for redemption, an opportunity to bounce back from a tough series in the ACC this past weekend. But for Nevada, it's a chance to show no doubt and also to get ready and keep their streak going heading into Mountain West play.
Yeah, no doubt indeed, as Jordo Gesselman's squad has been on a hot streak, winning 5 in a row, coming off a 3-game sweep over Pacific at home in Reno, but they're making the road trip back here over to California with the midweek matchup tonight against Stanford and the beginning of Mountain West Conference play for them with a series against Fresno State coming up soon. But on the other side, however, Stanford, they're trying to erase the rough weekend that they had on the road to open up ACC play against Wake Forest.
And Wake Forest has one of the best pitching staffs in the country, but to get swept when you're opening up conference play, not ideal. It's been a bit tough. 5-10 to start the season overall for the Cardinal. They've been hitting, though. In that last game against Wake Forest, they had 13 hits, no errors, so it's can they tame the offense on the other side and bring all parts of the game together?
Now we're going to see how both these teams play out, as this is a rematch of a matchup where both of these teams saw each other just 10 days ago. So Stanford are hoping to get even with the Wolfpack tonight. We'll give you the starting lineup set up by Jordan Getzelman. As business as usual for Nevada, Ramnik Kebon leads off playing center field. Jace Doby, who is pitching and DHing tonight, so some two-way action in the lineup. Junya Kwan at second base, bats third. Lee Matsuzaki in the cleanup spot playing left field. Jacob Doyle bats fifth, playing right field. Mikey Cruz at first base, batting sixth. Jackson Waller at shortstop, bats seventh. Nate Snakenberg at catcher, bats eighth. And Jack Metcho rounds out the order at the hot quarter at third base. And on the mound for the Cardinal is going to be Cohen Gomez, who has a win so far on the year, but is looking to try to put together a quality start as David Esker is giving him the ball.
Yeah, 2-0 so far this season, 9 1/3 innings pitched. Does have 14 strikeouts to just 4 walks. It's a good sign of command.
About to get ready here. It's a beautiful evening here in Stanford. First pitch is across for strike one. 6:03 is our first pitch time. 69 degrees, short sleeve evening right at first pitch with a good crowd continuing to pile in here, Jenna. Ebon sending a fly ball to right. Got a little bit of carry to it, but Tokan is there to make the catch just in front of the wall.
Not surprised to see solid contact from Kebon. You know, he's hitting .417 coming into this one, but if you can just get hitters to just miss enough to let your defense make the plays, that's your job as a pitcher.
Absolutely, as here comes Jace Doby. A little bit of Shohei Ohtani action tonight, pitching and DHing in that 2-hole, who's also been a standout hitter in the Wolfpack lineup so far this year, leading the team with total hits at 21 coming into this game. Also is the second best hitter with a .396 average.
Can get a couple of extra bases in there too. Leads the team with 6 doubles so far this year. Second with total bases and 27.
Now goes to 1-1. Umpires tonight behind on play calling balls and strikes is Harrison Silverman. First base Mike Green. Second base Brooks O'Hearn. And third base ump is Alex Nash. 1-1 pitch is going to drop in for a base hit in left field. So Jace Doby continuing to swing a hot bat. And talking with Coach Getzelman before the game, he expressed the love that he has for Doby as a player. You know, hometown kid, sort of coming from Santa Clara, still from the Bay Area. So you have the Jace Doby fan club coming in, but Getzelman, it was over the moon just talking about his performance, just knowing that he has that extra depth in the lineup.
It's nothing like being able to help yourself out when you're on the mound as well. That's one of my favorite things in diamond sports is when pitchers can help themselves out.
Now the senior Jung-Hyuk Kwon come up to the plate for the first time. 3 home runs, 10 ribbies to add to his totals for the year. There's the one special thing about Jung-Hyuk Kwon as he hails from Korea, and I'm sure he's over the moon about South Korea and making it to the quarterfinal of the World Baseball Classic. Gomez, 2-0 pitch. And a go foul right down the third base line.
There's a few Stanford alums who are also participating or have been in the World Baseball Classic. Brendan Beck, Tristan Beck, representing Great Britain. Cal Quantrill, Canada. Very cool to see that international flavor.
Absolutely. Always a fun time, and it's always a fun year when the World Baseball Classic rolls around. I've been locked into the games lately. That USA-Mexico game the other night was quite the doozy. Gomez trying to get the punch out on one of Nevada's top hitters. Swing, strike 3 on Kwon, but going down to second is Doby, and he's in there safely with stolen base.
Talked about Doby's ability to take extra bases. You can do it in multiple ways. An extra 90 feet to put yourself in scoring position. Makes a big difference. This is a game of inches.
Yeah, keep in mind, he still has to pitch. Oh, like going for a stolen base this early in the game. Emphasis on early, top of the first. If we're just tuning in. It's quite the risk that Getzelman is giving to him.
I've asked athletes who are two-way players, they pitch, they hit, what they consider themselves, a pitcher who hits or a hitter who pitches. And most of the time, their answer is something along the lines of, I'm just an athlete. I like to do it all, and that includes running the bases and taking bags.
There's Lee Matsuzaki, the cleanup hitter. Looks at ball 1 from Gomez. Matsuzaki, the redshirt senior from Honolulu, Hawaii. Swing and a miss. Beautiful pitch there by Gomez. Trying to put together quality inning. This is a big game for Stanford coming into tonight, trying to snap a losing streak, just knowing that this stretch for them has been awfully rough. We have pause here. Gomez steps off.
Last time these two teams met, they actually had a 6-game win streak, did the Cardinal.
Now it's fouled over on the third base side. Moran able to make the catch to retire the side. Oh, no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on for the Wolfpack, as that's how we begin the evening here at Sunken Diamond. We will head to the bottom of the first. Stanford will get their first ups. You are tuned in to college baseball here on the ACC Network Extra. Back here at Sunken Diamond, getting ready for the bottom of the first. Stanford's lineup will go like this. David Esker has it set up with the power-hitting first baseman Rentaro Sasaki leading off. He's playing first base tonight. Teddy Tokheim in left field bats second. Charlie Bates at shortstop batting third. J.J. Moran at the hot corner bats cleanup. Jimmy Natai, second baseman, batting fifth. Brady Reynolds in right field bats sixth. Eric Jones, designated hitter for Stanford, bats seventh. Luke Lavin behind a dish at catcher batting eighth. And Tatum Marsh in center field rounds out the order in the 9-hole. So now we will get a chance to see Jace Doby on the mound in this one. And for Doby, he did start in the last game that Nevada played Stanford in that Monday matchup. Left the game for no decision, but is looking to try to put together a much better outing.
And you mentioned earlier, it really is somewhat of a homecoming for him, being a Santa Clara native. So we have seen some fans in the stands wearing his jersey, and it's an opportunity for him to show up and show out in front of some of his friends and family, which is an extra special layer added to it.
Yeah, you just talk about the hometown feel that Doby has to an advantage. I'm sure it's going to be some extra motivation. I'm sure just knowing that Monday matchup they had, it was an early afternoon, so I'm sure they were probably at work. He had his family at work. I couldn't make it out, but with this being a night start, he's sure the Doby clan is in full effect in this one.
And he's a senior, too, so it's an opportunity to see him on his last ride.
Here's Rentaro Sasaki, looks at strike one, coming in with 4 home runs, a .250 average. Talk about another guy that I'm sure is happy about his home nation's performance in the WBC. Japan just annihilating their pool, making their way to the quarterfinal. Again, it felt like there was they took care of their pool with no effort, just knowing how stacked that team is. They'll be missing, but the 1-1 count goes now to 2-1.
Sasaki led the way last time these two teams met, too. He was 2 for 3, a couple of RBIs, scored a run, even drew a walk.
Smacks it hard out the center field, but there making a play is Romanick Kibon, who is in center field tonight. Maybe the defensive alignment for Nevada will give Stanford's in the next inning. It's going to be Matsuzaki in left, Kibon in center field, Doyle in right, Waller at short, Metcho at third base, Kwan at second base, Cruz playing first base, and Snake and Bird behind the dish at catcher. That was Teddy Tokheim time. Tokheim, the first pitch foul, is going to hop right into Stanford's bullpen. We talk about somebody that's been getting settled in here on the farm. Teddy Tokheim, a freshman.
Yeah, already hitting .333 this season. Had a double and a home run in that last game against Wake Forest. Expected to make an impact.
Hits it hard and it stays fair down the left field line. Tokheim's going to turn on the Jets. It rolls into the corner. Matsuzaki hurries it on in, but Tokheim's going to park it at second base with a 1-out Ducey. Stanford trying to get busy early here in the bottom of the first.
The extra base hits continue for Tokheim. I mean, being able to keep that inside pitch fair down that third baseline, it's easy to yank it foul, but to keep it in fair territory and put yourself in scoring position, that's what it's about.
Teddy Tokheim seeming to be one of those freshmen to talk about across the ACC, just knowing how deep the conference is this year. Charlie Bates not wasting any time. Swings at the first pitch, fouled.
A deep conference it is in the ACC. 7 teams in the top 25 for D1 baseball. Coming into this week, it's a gauntlet.
Doby misses outside. Said it before and I'll say it again, Jenna. The ACC this year is stacked like a plate of flapjacks. I mean, just talk about, up and down the conference, you know, these teams are so dominant that it's really a toss-up to see who can make it to Omaha. Bates shooting that one out in left field, and it's going to get over. Matsuzaki has to play it off the wall. Tokheim is going to jog on home, but will come across for the first run of the game. Charlie Bates, a sophomore from Palo Alto, delivers right away for the Card.
Speaking of hometown kid getting it done, trading places. Anytime you have a teammate get on second base with a double, you just want to switch places with them, bring them on home, and he does just that.
Charlie Bates, who came into tonight at double digits in RBIs, gets his 11th RBI and his third double on the season. Here's a guy who can also send it in the gap. Coming out, J.J. Moran.
One of 4 hitters in this Cardinal lineup with an OPS above 1.
Also tied for the team leading doubles with Rentaro Sasaki at 5 on the year. Adobe, who, of course, being assigned the mission to put together a quality start. Stanford just trying to knock him around a little bit early. The 1-1. Taking off for third is Bates. The throw is in time. Snakenberg catches him right on the money.
It's a nice pick and a nice tag over at third base by Mecho as well. He had to pick that throw in the dirt, made it look smooth and easy, helping Snakenberg out.
Yeah, now the bases are empty. Count 2-1 on Moran. Outside, now it goes to a hitter's count.
And a total momentum shift with that play. Defense can do that too. It's not just the offensive moments that can reclaim momentum. Being able to get that out at third base shifts things a bit for Nevada.
3-1 is popped up. Dobie is going to call for it, and he'll secure it for the third out. But Stanford able to get on the board early thanks to a Charlie Bates RBI double. So we'll go to the second frame, 1-0 Cardinal over Nevada. Just getting things underway here on the farm tonight. Stanford able to get a run across in the bottom of the first. As promised, we'll give you the defensive alignment for Stanford. Tokheim in left, Marsh in center field, Reynolds in right. Yeah, Bates at shortstop, Moran at third, Natai at second base, Sasaki at first base, and Lavin behind a dish at catcher. For Nevada, due up here in the top of the second, it's going to be Doyle, Cruz, and Waller. Jacob Doyle's a big right fielder, alien outfielder, now with 11 RBIs. The team high for the Wolfpack.
One of the Nevada natives on this team. 9 from Nevada, 9 from California to lead the way. So 5 of those 9 are from northern Nevada, so closer to Reno, where the Wolfpack compete in their home slate.
Yeah, Doyle comes from Sparks, Nevada. Sends a drive out the left field. Tokheim going back to the wall, but he'll watch that one fly out of here. Jacob Doyle deposits that one into the trees. He delivers for his third home run on the year, and just like that, the Wolfpack even up the score at 1.
Absolutely crushed that ball. Nevada fans right away knew off the bat they were already cheering. It's a deep part of the ballpark. Lifted right out of here.
There's about 375 in that part of the ballpark here at Sunken Diamond, so wasn't a cheap one, that's for sure.
Yeah, sunken 335 down the lines, 400 to straight center, but 375 in right and left center.
There comes Mikey Cruz. Count 1-1 on him. Gomez gives him strike 2 to look at. Mikey Cruz has only played a handful of games. This is his second start, 5th game played so far in 2026. 6'3", 240, straight out of Reno, product of Reno High. Gomez is 1-2. Swing and a miss. He's able to flame Cruz there, so he bounces back from the home run for out number 1.
And that bounce back is what you want to see. That's what Coach Eager, the pitching coach for the Stanford staff, is looking at. How do you respond after you give up something big? You have to reset. You have to move on. So nice job by Gomez doing that.
Now here's Jackson Waller. Waller doesn't waste time. Pops it up on the left side of the infield. And Bates call off Moran. He'll put away for the second out.
Really routine in terms of the communication there from Bates, but a nice job by Moran too to totally bail. Get out of the way once Bates calls it. Shortstop does have priority. Executing the routine.
Now Nate Snakenborg, who actually threw out Bates as he was trying to go for the steal, but Snakenborg able to catch him stealing in the last inning. Gomez evens up the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Gives him strike 2, and here's an interesting stat. Cohen Gomez, opposing batting average against hitters with 2 out, they're hitting .214. So definitely a tough guy to face, especially with 2 outs.
You produced the strikeout, the pop-up, jumped ahead here on Snakenborg.
2-2. Gets Snakenborg the chase to retire the side. But Nevada able to use their powers to even up the score. Jacob Doyle delivered the home run to left field, and it's a 1-1 game here at Stanford. So some early scoring is on display here at Sunken Diamond. Now in the bottom of the second, 1-1 game. Philip Hall alongside Jenna Becerra here on the ACC Network Extra for this Wednesday evening midweek rematch. Here comes the Aussie Jimmy Natai coming up for the first time tonight. Chase Doby put together a shutdown inning.
Natai led the team in multiple categories, including 16 home runs, 50 RBIs last year.
So roll over the first. And be well played there by Cruz. He'll step on the bag, 1 down.
Part of the reason that's an important out right there for Doby to set the tone here. After your team ties it up, you go yard. Try to get those outs as soon as possible. Let him take the bats once again.
And I think that's another thing that Coach Esker is trying to figure out with his pitching staff right now. You know, they've played in a lot of high-scoring games. You know, sometimes you'll get that rare shutdown inning from your starter, but, you know, with Stanford knowing that they're coming into this year with a relatively young pitching staff, you know, it's just the adjustment that they're having to the college game. There's Brady Reynolds. Oh, he delivers breaking pitch that time. Reynolds taking a bite at it.
And to that point, in that Wake Forest series, run production for both teams just continued to increase. 7-4, 12-9, 14-10 from game 1 to game 3. So the run production is there for Stanford, and the power is there. They've hit multiple home runs in the last 7 games, 20 total in that span, yet they're 1-6 overall. So again, it's how do we bring the other parts of the game all together and have it be firing on all cylinders?
2-1, the Reynolds is fouled right at my eye level. Thank God we have a net. But yeah, to your point, Jenna, like the run production does get produced for the Cardinal. Like, again, this batting order is definitely strong up and down. But, it's just up to the pitching staff to really play catch up to the level of where the hitting has started off this year. So Reynolds fouls that one, looked like it got him on the foot. And when you think about now going into a gauntlet, which is the ACC schedule for the remainder of the season, you're going to go up against teams that have just been knocking the cowhide off the baseball at this point in the season. Just knowing that, hey, you got all your non-conference matchups out the way, and now it's time to get real serious. Just knowing we're trying to, put together some wins here in which could be considered one of the toughest conferences in college baseball right now. 2-2 to Reynolds. Caught nothing but the air. Goes down on strike 3 as Jace Dobie getting his first K on the night.
Dobie doing a nice job of making adjustments. He gave up those back-to-back doubles in the first that allowed Stanford to score, but has since retired the next 3. A pop-up, a ground out, and a strikeout. Exactly the rhythm you want to be in.
2 gone here. That brings up the designated hitter, Eric Gion. Gion looks at the first pitch, strike. Gion, who the transfer from Ivy League Columbia. Returning back here to the West Coast, where actually his brother, Kevin Gion, currently playing at Cal, so you got 2 brothers playing in the same conference as each other.
That's a fun family rivalry to have.
All right, get a pause here. Jace Dobie is walking off the mound. Not really sure what the situation is here, and from the looks of it, might just have to be
I think it's the pitch communication technology. He swapped it out, it looked like, from his hat.
It is, as Jordan Getzelman having to grab the headset comm from Dobie there, so maybe just need a replacement.
Technology has evolved so much in collegiate athletics, and just how athletes and coaches communicate.
Yeah, sometimes it's not always perfect. Joe looks at ball 1.
Gion had a heck of a game 3 against Wake Forest too. 3 for 5 with a double, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. He's been on a roll.
Sure has. A 455 batting average coming in. Surprisingly, Gion did not play in the last matchup that Stanford had against Nevada. Look at ball 3.
Yeah, he's only got 11 at-bats on this season, so still a small sample size. But when you have those key performances, despite the loss, for example, against Wake Forest in Game 3, that'll get you some opportunities.
Gion taking all the way. Dobie missing high. He'll give him the free pass.
And that's a solid at bat, right? That's a plate appearance that you want to see. The patience there, not chasing anything, going deep into the count.
Here comes the left-hitting catcher, Luke Lavin. Lavin did homer off Adobe in the Monday midweek matchup last week. Hits it hard, and it goes in the right field for a base hit. Gion will take the turn at second, and a throw. The third is cut off. Luke Lavin able to move Gion over in the scoring position. Runners at the corners with 2 out.
I like the aggressiveness there from Lavin. He saw something that was in his wheelhouse that he liked, and he went for it. And also the aggressiveness on the base pass. Gion, no hesitation coming around second base. He knew that it would have to be a perfect throw out from right field, and takes advantage.
That opens up the door for Tatum Marsh. Dobie delivers strike 1 to him. Marsh trying to get over the Mendoza line, hitting 191 coming into tonight. It's in a big spot here. Dobie's 0-1. Just missed off the corner there for ball 1.
And Marsh is more than capable of doing that too. A freshman All-American by multiple publications a season ago. Getting settled in still here in his sophomore campaign.
A 1-1 is shot right back into center field, and it's like Marsh is going to get over the Mendoza line with that base hit. He drives in Gion, and just like that, Stanford back in the lead.
Sometimes it's the timeliness of the hits that you do get as well, with the runner over at third base, bringing in the go-ahead run. That's why it's not just the hitting, it's the timely hitting that really gets you the W at the end of the day.
Now that makes the hill a little bit more steeper for Dobie to get out of this inning. Now Rentaro Sasaki return to the plate. Yeah, he flew out in the first inning to center field. Runners at first and second, still 2 gone. Dobie going off speed there to start this at bat with Sasaki. He's going to need to be extra careful. Go 1. This low, count goes even.
Second time through the order, hitters start to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more familiar, and having seen Dobie already as well the first time around, just about a little over a week ago in the first matchup.
Just in the dirt this time. Dobie did hit a home run in the last matchup against Nevada. It was Sasaki that hit a home run in the last matchup against Nevada. Now looks at the count 3-1.
First time up too, he flew out to center, but he really hit that on the screws. It was just at Keybon.
Takes a swing there, but sends it foul. Now it's a full count. See who wins the duel. Here's the payoff. Runners take off, and it's inside for ball 4. Sasaki able to win the battle, but now the bases are loaded for Teddy Tokheim.
It's a nice job by the Stanford offense, making things happen here with 2 outs. A quick first couple of outs, for Dobie, but Stanford had that so what mentality we used to say in college where, oh, 2 outs, so what? We're going to keep battling one pitch at a time.
The bag's juice for the card. Tokheim, who doubled his last AB and came around to score, now has a chance to really set things off here at Sunken. They'll take ball 1 from Dobie. Missed low. Count goes 2-0 for Tokheim. Dobie's trying to mix things up here. You can see, trying to go fastball, maybe change up, maybe slider, try to mix in as much as he can. 2-1 pitch on the way. Missed low for ball 3, so Dobie now in a situation where he could walk in a run.
Nowhere to put him. Walking in the run, that is a cardinal sin, no pun intended.
One high in the zone, but still in for strike 2, so count goes full now. Big pitch coming up. Tokheim and Dobie in a duel here. Here's the payoff. Ball 4. That's now the 3rd walk allowed by Dobie in this inning, as he'll have another one come in. That's Lavin that comes across, and is now a 3-1 lead.
Not surprised to see a conversation here heading towards the mound. The pitch count also really increasing. Dobie gradually making it closer to 50 pitches just here in the 2nd inning.
And just that 2 out, seeing that 3rd out that Dobie's been trying to work to get, has just been unreachable by the way that Stanford has been having their approach at the plate against him.
There have been a couple of timely hits from Lavin, from Marsh, for example, but it's the walks as well. 3 already here in the 2nd inning. That's the biggest adjustment that needs to be made. You make them beat you. You don't give them the freebies.
So Charlie Bates, who delivered Stanford's first run of the game in the 1st inning with the RBI double, now is in a big spot here where he could really make some dough. Dobie still struggling to find the strike zone here, even after the mound visit.
And you got to give credit to the Stanford hitters as well for showing patience and discipline. They've been drawing those walks, attacking pitches near the zone to get those hits.
1-0 on the black, strike 1. We have Marsh at 3rd, Sasaki at 2nd, Tokheim at 1st. That one is jammed in, but it's going to go into left field. 1 run is in. That's Marsh. Sasaki will come right behind him. And Charlie Bates puts 2 more on for the card.
Having himself a day already. 3 RBIs from Bates. And he inside out of that pitch, got jammed a little bit, but kept the barrel through the zone long enough to poke it into the outfield and do just enough.
That ball wasn't hit that well, but it was hit low enough to get over the head of Metro. Now a 5-1 lead now for Stanford with J.J. Moran coming up with runners at the corners. Runs in, it hits Moran on the first pitch. and things have just not been going well for Dobie.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a change here at the mound. The adjustments just don't seem to be coming through for Dobie at this point.
And that arm in the Nevada bullpen is warming up fast. So fast, you might have to put it in the oven just to get himself loose.
Stanford's batted around already in this one, too. Jimmy Nadai led things off. He grounded out. But already ready and scheduled to take another opportunity here.
Jordan Getzelman is going to give Dobie the hook, so he has an early exit on the night as he will leave this game with the bases loaded. We'll take a quick break and give you the rundown on the new arm coming in for the Wolfpack. Stanford put up 4 so far here in the bottom of the second. 5-1 the score. Oh, Stanford just up in the score right now on Nevada. They're at 5-1 here in the bottom of the second as Jace Dobie has an early exit from this game, as it's going to be Ryan Oakes coming on the pitch for the Wolfpack. Senior, 6'2", out of Folsom. Product of Folsom Lake College, a JUCO transfer.
Yeah, this is his 4th appearance on the season this year. A 2.45 ERA coming into this, just 7 1/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 6 hits, 2 runs, both of which were earned, 5 strikeouts to 5 walks. He's only allowed 1 extra base hit so far, 1 double on the year. Opponents are hitting 240 off of him.
Yeah, it's maybe a situation will come in a long relief, hoping that Nevada for the next inning can cut down this deficit. Comes in a big spot. Bases still loaded for Stanford. Tocom at third, Bates at second, Moran at first with Jimmy Natai coming up to the plate. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to first. His first AB on the evening.
Dobie still responsible for all 3 runners that are on board.
First pitch from Oakes, missed outside. Looking at strike 1, count goes even. On the season, he is a .316 hitter with 2 outs. Not really the best when it comes to runners in scoring position, however. He's hitting .182. The 1-1 from Oakes. Right across for strike 2.
I saw a little frustration from Nadai. You knew that one might have been one to take a hack at. Now he's got to protect.
Comes Oakes' 1-2 pitch. And that third out just seems, so hard to grab for Nevada right now. Really trying to rely heavy on the pitching. try again with the 2-2. Ty swings and fouls it into the seats. That Ty gets it through underneath the third baseman. One run is in. Here comes another. Stanford just continuing to add some more. I mean, that Ty delivers with a 2 RBI single to now make it a 7-1 game.
That's a great at-bat from Natai. Goes deep in the count. He had to protect with 2 strikes, just hard on the ground to get through that 5-6 hole. Exactly what you need if you're Stanford in that situation, and he delivered.
It was Tokheim and Bates that came around to score. Now it's Brady Reynolds. Try to keep the hit train going. Go look at ball 1.
Important for many reasons what Natai just did, but also to set the tone against the new pitcher. You have Oaks out there on the mound. And Natai seeing multiple pitches, giving his team a chance to see those as well.
Yeah, it really just takes that big inning for Stanford to really, build that confidence late in the game.
And try to get as much insurance as possible. They were beating Nevada 6-4 heading into the 8th and 9th innings last time around. And then with 2 outs, the Wolfpack come back and they get that 9-6 victory. Can't give yourself too much cushion.
Brady Reynolds counted 3-0. See if he gets the green light. It's gonna be ball 4. He'll work the walk. Stanford, who now continue to bat through the order. Seems like you get the conga line music ready. Cardinals, the Cardinal just running it up against Nevada, which is a far cry from how things went on Monday.
Been a bit of a carousel out there. The merry-go-round around the bases for the Cardinal. I think it's the 4-pitch walk that's concerning too. Finding the zone at some point. Hurting yourself a little bit out there when you keep giving away those freebies.
Hey, Argion, he'll come up for the second time in this inning. He worked the walk in his last plate appearance. What's that? Strike 1.
4 walks and a hit by pitch in this inning alone.
It's with the 0-1.
But then Stanford has taken advantage of it too. 4 singles mixed in there as well, and they've done it with runners in scoring position. Bates getting that 2 RBI single. Marsh with the RBI single. It'll come back to bite you when you have a strong offensive team.
There's another bases loaded situation. I'm trying to take a big rip at that one. The 1-2 from Oaks. Hard fastball misses in. Over Jordan Getzelman, and the stress level couldn't be higher because not only does he have to finish tonight, he's got to get his guys ready for Fresno State, and I'm sure he wants to keep the lock on the bullpen as much as he can. Two runs in on Gion, count goes full.
It's always one game at a time, even one inning, one at bat, one pitch at a time. But that's what you're doing when you're managing the talent that you have on your roster, you do have to think about those things. And Nevada picked to take the Mountain West again, but Fresno State picked second. They're starting off as strong as they can in the conference slate.
Called strike 3. Down go looking is Gian. He gets handed the backwards K to stop the bleeding for Nevada, but it's quite a wound that has been opened up on the Wolfpack. Stanford putting up 6 runs in that inning. That's putting up a fat score and a fat lead on Nevada right now, as we'll go to the third. 7-1, Cardinal in front here on the ACC Network Extra. Over Cohen Carr, for him to get run support is now an understatement with how big of an inning that Stanford had at the plate. Put up 6 runs on Nevada, knocking the starter Jace Doby out of the game. And now Cohen Gomez has a 6-run lead now to work with. Jack Mecho, I think he's off here in the top of the third. Nevada trying to look to chip away at this deficit. Mecho, a local guy here in the Bay Area, comes from Fairfield. Gomez is 1-1. Trying to give him the curve, but Harrison Silverman wasn't giving him the strike there. Now it goes to 2-1.
Yeah, Metro, one of those 9 California kids on this Nevada team, really spread out all over the country and even internationally, this roster for the Wolfpack.
2-2 just miss outside, and you just think about where college sports is starting to go. Some of these programs having to go outside of the U.S. to find talent, especially if they can find kids that want to play, want to come to the States, get an education. You think about how they're also being trained there as Mecho begins the inning with a leadoff walk.
It's a nice job by Mecho. Any way you can, just be that leadoff. In the 9 spot, you turn the lineup back over to the top of the order. You have a base runner aboard for your team. You got to start chipping away. Yeah. Guy from Japan, guy from Korea, but then spread out too. 6 from Hawaii, 5 from Arizona, 2 from Idaho, and then a mix in addition to those California and Nevada kids for Nevada.
Rona Kibon, he flew out to left field to begin the game in the first inning. Gomez missing outside, or ball 1, but that first inning probably feels like it was an eternity ago just by how this game has been turned upside down for the Wolfpack. Gomez with a pearl of a pitch in for strike 2.
It's a Nevada team that's certainly capable offensively, though. Double digits their last 3 games in that sweep over Pacific in terms of runs.
Ebon shoots it to left field. It'll fall in front of Tokheim. Get down for a base hit. The one thing that Cohen Gomez can't allow himself to do is get too comfortable with this Wolfpack lineup, because this is a team that really hits well as a unit. 291 team average coming into tonight. And with Jordan Getzelman's background being a hitting coordinator in the major leagues with the Milwaukee Brewers, just his experience and the way that he coaches at the plate, as there's Jace Doby sending a fly ball to left, Tokheim able to grab it, one gone.
And that was an important out because that was one of the most dangerous hitters in this order. Had a single the last time up. To be able to retire Doby, important. And now you still have options defensively in the infield. You know, anywhere but home, you can record an out and possibly turn two.
Comes another dangerous hitter, Junya Kwon. And Kwon just sat on that fastball there, and he knocks it into the trees. No doubt about it. The senior from Korea gets Nevada back into this game of one swing. 3-run shot now makes it a 7-4 game.
Chipping away the way the Wolfpack can. They scored 11 runs in game 1, 10 in game 2, 12 in game 3 against Pacific. So early on in this ball game, they are not done.
Junya Kwon delivers with his 4th home run on the year, and it sure wasn't a cheap one.
I like to see Lavin having a conversation there with Gomez. Initiating with some leadership here. It doesn't always have to be coach initiated. It can be player led as well. And that's part of your job as a catcher. You're managing the entire bullpen, all the different types of pitchers that you work with. That's part of it. So I like to see that.
Yeah, Luke Lavin, a junior, very experienced catcher, especially just knowing that he's now working with a new crop of arms on that Stanford pitching staff. You know, able to come out to talk with Colin Gomez after giving up that home run. But here's Lee Matsuzaki. He popped out in the first inning. Hard swing at the fastball. Matsuzaki trying to get around on that one.
And came into this game hitting 500. 0 for 1, so now just 478. Been on a tear.
Tries at the 2-1. Couldn't connect there. Count now goes to 2-2.
Timing seems slightly out. Number one thing as a hitter you need to be is on time. That was better. Even though it was a take, you could see his timing, his rhythm was more on point, which allows you to be disciplined in the box.
Gomez has stayed balanced in this game. Payoff misses inside, ball 4. Only the second walk allowed by Gomez in this outing.
But both here in the third. That first time it came around to bite. One of the runs in that 3-run shot from Kwon.
You know, Jacob Doyle come back up. He hit the leadoff home run in the second inning. Get Nevada their first run on the game. Gomez with 2 throws over to first, keeping a close eye on Matsuzaki. This isn't a Nevada team that runs a whole lot. They do most of their damage at the plate. We're going to get a mound visit here for Stanford, or it may look like it might be going, or it may just be buying some time for the arm that's getting loose over in the Cardinal bullpen.
And Stanford hasn't had to manage that much traffic on the base pass. There's a single from Doby back in the first, and it was the home run in the second. But outside of that, no runners were on base. So the walks in this one are the first time that Stanford's having to manage that, and that Gomez is having to think about that.
And though it looks like Cohen Gomez is going to get the hook, They do make the call to the pin. What we thought was just going to be a confidence-boosting mound visit by just going to be the night for Gomez. But he will leave with the lead. So a 7-4 lead for Stanford as they'll give the rundown the new arm coming out the bullpen for the Cardinal. Nevada trying to keep the inning going. We'll be back from the farm in just a moment. But Colin Gomez's night is complete as he leads with the lead 7-4 still for Stanford. He finishes the night at 2 1/3 innings pitched, 4 runs and 4 hits allowed, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts, facing 13 Wolfpack hitters. Now coming in to relief for him is going to be Andrew Shaw. Andrew Shaw, the freshman lefty, hard thrower out of Woodstock, Georgia.
5th appearance so far this season for the lefty. 6 innings pitched, 4.5 ERA, 9 strikeouts, just 1 walk.
Shaw comes in with 1 out. A runner at first as he'll see Jacob Doyle, who hit the leadoff home run in the top of the 2nd in his last time up. Shaw did come into the ball game against Nevada back on Monday, really in a spot where he was trying to protect the lead. Is in a similar spot. Count now goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. And then Nevada, in that last outing that he had against Nevada, he went 2 innings, allowed no runs, but did have 5 strikeouts. So he came out guns blazing in that last outing. Big swing and a miss by Doyle.
Good job mixing speeds there. Take a little off of it. Have to have confidence in that pitch to throw it when it's a 2-1 count.
Count now at 2-2. Runner takes off, and the throw down to second. Right on target, but it was just late. Matsuzaki in with the stolen base.
2nd stolen base of the day for the Wolfpack. Been able to gain that extra 90 feet. Back in the 1st inning, Doby did it. Stanford able to get out of it. We'll try to do it again here in the 3rd.
Nevada, who's also trying to have a big inning themselves, now have a runner in scoring position. Doyle with a full count on him. Runs in, almost hit Doyle, but he'll take the walk.
Both runners aboard now. Earned their way on from the walk. The first one, of course, over at second base, Matsuzaki, is still the responsibility of Gomez.
Mikey Cruz looking at strike 1, but this does set up the double play chance for Stanford to get out of this inning.
Better adjustment there from Shaw to jump ahead 0-2. Defensive signals from Lavin there too, coming from behind the plate, because there are so many options with runners at 1st and 2nd, 1 out, communicating with his defenders in that pre-pitch preparation.
0-2 from Shaw. This is in. Count goes to 1-2. Mikey Cruz did strike out his last time up. 1-2 pitch from Shaw. Tried to edge it on the block there, but didn't get the call. The big hitter at the plate, 6'3", 240. Shaw falling behind against Cruz here. It's now a full count. Cruz pops it up. Sasaki call it off and make the catch. There's 2 away.
Nice job by Sasaki. The ball hanging up there for a while. A lot of movement. He was almost at the pitcher's mound by the time he actually made the grab. But the communication calling it right away, making it easy.
Not only can Sasaki do it with the bat, but he has the tendency to make, high baseball IQ plays at first base. Now it's Jackson Waller's turn. We'll look at strike 1. So he popped out the short in the second inning. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. One thing to know about Jackson Waller, even coming from San Marcos, California, he was actually developed through the MLB Develops program that has produced many top college players and even some players that have gone on to play professionally. I had the fortunate opportunity to do work with, the MLB Develops at the Andre Dawson Classic, and look forward to working more with them later on this year for the MLB Breakthrough Series. Opportunity to see some of the top high school prospects in the country. Waller being one of those prospects to look out for. He swings at strike 3, dropped in the dirt. He'll get the out at first. But Nevada able to edge back into this deficit thanks to a 3-run home run coming from Junya Kwan. Here in the third inning, we'll go to the bottom half, 7-4. Cardinals still in front here at Sunken Diamond. Philip Hall and Jenna Becerra alongside with you here on the ACC Network Extra here tonight in Stanford, as it's another midweek matchup, the rematch between Nevada and Stanford, with the Cardinal up on the Wolfpack 7-4. Due up here in the bottom of the third, it will be Luke Lavin, Tatum Marsh, and Rentaro Sasaki. Ryan Oakes remains in the game.
This is the portion of the order that started to get things going. Gian got the walk back in the second. Then back-to-back singles from Lavin and Marsh. A couple walks, and they really started to break it open.
As Stanford putting it together, that 6-run inning in the bottom half of the second is where we are now. Luke Lavin fouls off the 1-1. And I say this a lot when it comes to college baseball. Coaches always love to have that power at the bottom of the order. The guys that know what the plan is when it comes to setting the table. The check swing, but Lavin went around. There's strike 3. Yeah, you could go all across the country and you can find many programs that always try to find a way to, catch pitchers by surprise. If you're going to have your power hitter hit 7th, hit 8th, by all means, have them be caught by surprise, just thinking like, oh, there's no power down there. It's a bunt down the third baseline, but a nice play at third by Jack Metcho to get the second out.
Speaking of surprise, a good idea. I don't mind that at all for Marsh, but really well played defensively to get that out. Such a close play over there, but a quick throw and accurate makes the difference.
To away, that brings up the top hitter in Rintaro Sasaki. Bit of an interesting move here. David Esker, I'm going to have to talk to his slugger from the Far East, see how the approach is going to be at the plate.
And we talked about the international flavor on the roster for Nevada, but of course there for Stanford too. Sasaki, one of the highly touted recruits out of Japan, but Canada, Australia with Jimmy Nadai too, also represented on this roster. Otherwise, 29 out of 39 people on the roster from California.
I'll step in to see Oaks. You know, I recently just found out, Jenna, Sasaki was actually drafted to play in the MPB in 2025. Pull up the note here. So he looks at strike one.
Yep.
Yeah, the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks took him in the first round in the 2025 NPB draft. Turned him down to come over here to little old Stanford to play college ball.
And he came early too, to be able to get acclimated, really far away from home, getting used to what it's like to be in the college environment. And this is his second year now, actually on the field, but he came a year prior. Spent some time here in the Bay Area.
Not to mention, he even played at the top level of the collegiate summer ball scene in the Cape Cod. You talk about a guy coming from a different side of the world, but still playing and being amongst the cream of the crop of college baseball here in the U.S. I mean, the adjustment has been, solid for him. Looks at Oaks, 1-1 pitch. Count now goes to 2-1 strike on Sasaki.
Something David Esker talks about with Rintaro Sasaki is how focused he is on the team as well. A lot of attention, a lot of hype on him individually. But he thinks it helped him stay grounded, especially when he first got here to Stanford, to really put all of his time and effort into trying to do what's best for the team. And you see that all-out effort from him every time he's on the field.
Like, the hype is an understatement. This is a guy that broke Shohei Ohtani's home run record in high school. Fouls off the 2-2. And, there's this documentary right now on Netflix that talks about the big high school tournament that happens every year in Japan called Koshin, where it's like life or death for those kids to really want to win it. There's a video of Shohei Ohtani crying after he lost in that tournament. Sasaki shoots it back into center field for a 2-out base hit.
Solid at bat from Sasaki. Fouling pitches off, connecting there at the end. Not trying to do too much with it, too. He's got the power. We've talked about how he can leave the yard, but just hitting it right back where it came from, up the middle.
So Sasaki, who walked in the second inning, gets on base for the second time tonight, opens up the door for Teddy Tokine. Tokine pops up the first pitch, foul territory, close to first base. This is going to be light work for Mikey Cruz to retire the side. Runner left on, nothing doing for Stanford in the bottom half of the third. They still hold the 3-run lead, 7-4. We'll go to the fourth frame here at Sunken Diamond. You're tuned into college baseball here on the ACC Network Extra.
Top of the fourth inning, bottom of the order due up for the visiting Nevada Wolfpack. It's 8-9-1, going to face the reliever. Shaw still on the mound for the Cardinal, who leads 7-4 after a big-time second inning to bring 6 across. And all 4 runs for Nevada have come via the long ball. The solo shot in the second, 3-run bomb in the third. And the first pitch to Snakenborg is in there for a strike.
Andrew Shaw's going to really need a shutdown inning to keep the pitching momentum going for Stanford. This is really where the struggles have been for the team this year. It's all about how can the work on the mound be dominated late in the game.
That's lined into center field, just past the diving glove of Bates at shortstop. A leadoff base hit, first of the day for Snakenborg. And a runner aboard now for the Wolfpack here.
It seems like whenever the ball gets hit in the play, the ball becomes to have a mind of its own, just knowing how many close calls it's had and getting past the gloves of the infielders.
Got to appreciate the effort there from Bates over at shortstop. And once again, a conversation on the mound. Pitching coach Thomas Eager has been on staff with head coach David Esker for Stanford, both in their 9th season. And Kathy Wolf, assistant baseball coach here at Stanford, was at Cal and Cal Poly prior to this, as was Esker. 18 years he spent on the other side of the bay before coming back to his alma mater. And we are going to have the pitching change. So that is going to do it for Shaw. Snakenborg over at first base, still his responsibility. But we'll take a quick break and be back to talk to you about the new hurler. Entering on the hump for Stanford is Trevor Moore. 11 innings pitched so far this season for the senior out of Golden, Colorado. A 4.09 ERA. This is his 8th appearance in 2026. 14 strikeouts on the year to 7 walks. He's allowed 11 hits, 5 runs, all of which were earned. Opponents are hitting .268 against Trevor Moore.
And aside from Andrew Shaw, Trevor Moore has been another go-to option for David Esker as far as bullpen arms. Now with this being his 8th appearance on the year, he has the most appearances out of all the pitchers on the Stanford pitching staff. So hopefully he's able to kind of find a rhythm here. Again, this now has become a bullpen game with how much of an offensive outpour we've been seeing from both sides, Jenna.
And he did appear in Game 3 of that Wake Forest series. Threw a couple of innings, took the loss in that 14-10 final score. Going up against Jack Mecho. His first pitch is in there for a strike. Mecho, the senior, walked, came around to score back in the 3rd inning. Some wiggle on that pitch to jump ahead 0-2. Trevor Moore with the pitcher's count, excuse me. The 0-2. Holding is Mecho.
The long wait on the delivery there from Moore. Snakenborg is not the biggest of catchers, but sometimes most catchers can surprise you with how well they can move the legs on the base path.
No stolen bases on the year so far for Snakenborg. A 1-2 count here for Mecho. Chopped up the middle. It's going to be cut off by Bates. He'll step on second, over to first for the double play. Exactly what the doctor ordered for the Cardinal. And turning 2 to put 2 away.
It was a big play for Trevor Moore to get, able to put one on the ground for his infield. Of course, Bates, always a sure hand there at short. Able to work and move for the double play there.
And Moore doing his job, rolling something up, letting the defense work to get the 2 outs. Back to the top of the order with Romanick Kebon. 1 for 2 with the single. Back in the third, came around to score. He'll take a first pitch strike. So far, Moore been in command, jumping ahead on the hitters. In the dirt, nicely picked by Lavin. Talked about the young pitching staff for the Stanford team, but Moore a senior. As that one escapes and goes to the backstop. Some of the leadership that will be needed in the bullpen, especially down the stretch here this season. Lined on a line, out to right field. Coming in to make the grab is Reynolds. The unconventional 1-2-3 inning. And Trevor Moore coming on in relief. The Cardinal with the goose egg defensively in the top of the fourth. They will pick up the bats with Bates, Moran, and Nadai due up. Back at it here in the bottom of the fourth inning, and a pitching change for the Nevada Wolfpack. Coming in on the hump is Peyton Dixon, the lefty, the redshirt freshman. Third appearance on the season so far. He has kept it clean. A couple of innings pitched in the books. No hits, no runs. Just 1 walk allowed to 2 strikeouts.
As light work for Peyton Dixon, redshirt freshman from Honolulu, Hawaii, but did have a 1-inning outing early in the season against Ole Miss. So definitely Adams had his work cut out for him to really early out the gate, and followed it up with a 1-inning outing at UC Davis.
And the first pitch to Charlie Bates misses for ball 1. Stanford hitters adjusting to the southpaw here. That one's just outside to make it 2-0 to Bates. Bates has had himself a day already. 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. The double back in the first, the single in the second. He came around to score as well. That one catches the inside corner to make it 2-1.
And you just think about how well the Stanford team has been hitting at the plate. With runners in scoring position, 4 for 5 on the game.
Big swing and a miss there to even it up at 2-2.
Also, not to mention, they've really struggled, or had Nevada struggle to get that third out. 5 for 8 when there's 2 out when hitting.
Just a touch inside there, and that's going to fill the count at 3-2. Bates coming into this hitting .362. This at bat on the season. Payoff. That's grounded to the left side on the run, making the charge at short. Throw is low and handled over at first. Waller to Cruz connection. And it's 1 down here in the fourth. JJ Moran now will step in.
Let's provide a score update. Games around the ACC tonight. Only 3 games being played amongst ACC representatives. Louisville took care of Marshall early with an 18-8 win, giving the Cardinals, plural Cardinals, their 12th win on the year. And you mentioned one of those teams trying to stay hot. Louisville, definitely a contender to try to go after the ACC title. And then, Miami continue to keep the trend moving as they were able to get the midweek win against in-state rival Central Florida, 9-5.
Swing and a miss there to even the count, 1-1 to Moran. Was hit by a pitch last time back in the second. We have talked about how the ACC is a formidable conference. 7 teams in the top 25 according to D1 Baseball. That's over the wide of the plate for strike 2. Georgia Tech at number 4. NC State number 10. Clemson 11. Wake Forest 12. Virginia 14. 15 North Carolina. That one's just off the plate. Florida State number 20.
You know, Stanford fans may not like this, but, you know, to mention another ACC team have been having a hot streak of games, Cal. You know, kind of just coming off of a 11-game win streak just recently. They dropped a game at San Jose State the other night, but, you know, the Golden Bears across the bay kind of giving the nation a little bit of a scare right now.
One of the oldest rivalries out west between Stanford and Cal. Payoff pitch. It's inside outed. Staying alive here is Moran. "19 hits on the season. 9 of those for extra bases. 5 doubles, a triple, and 3 home runs for Moran. Upstairs, fouled out of play into the stands. As night descends here at Sunken Diamond. Playing under the lights. A beautiful Wednesday evening here in the Bay Area, 66 degrees. Doesn't get much better for some baseball. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Dixon winning the battle. He's retired the first 2 hitters he has seen. 2 away here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, it was one that I'm sure JJ wished he could get back. You know, Dixon just served him up a pitch that looked real good to hit, but you know, you're going up against a lefty arm that's really trying to bring some energy out that bullpen.
Now it's Jimmy Nati's turn. Trying to get something going here with 2 outs for the Cardinal. That one's well out of the zone for ball 1. 2 RBI single back in the 2nd.
Get 2 at-bats in the 2nd inning.
That's in the air and deep into left field. See you later. Jimmy Nati. Touch them all. Cardinal now with 8 runs tonight. And Jimmy Nati adds to the tally.
Sat on that pitch there and just lifted it over the trees in left field. My man from down under saying, "See you later, mate."
From down under, taking it up and over the wall for his 3rd long ball of the season. We were dangerously close to having the first inning with no runs scored, and Jimmy Nati said, "Not today, not in the 4th inning. I'm going to add to the tally here." So the 8-4 lead for the Cardinal. Still with 2 outs now. Ethan Hott stepping in. He's going to get hit. The pinch hitter who is in for Reynolds takes one for the team, and he'll find himself aboard.
Yeah, it's interesting that plate appearance to have coming fresh off the Charger. You know, Ethan Hott taking one for the team, but yeah, Stanford want to have another big inning, try to keep the train moving and have that Nevada bullpen shaking in their boots.
Eight hits on the day for the Cardinal. Looking for his first is Eric Gion. Up and out. As Hott scurries back over to first base. Keeping a close eye is Snakenborg.
I want to go back to the ACC standings for a minute. You know, the next couple of days, Stanford's going to be welcoming Pitt. It's been, in my opinion, the sleeper team of the ACC. I feel like they've been counted out when you look at the rest of the conference, but, you know, they're a very experienced team, and, of course, one of their players, Lorenzo Carrier, getting ACC Player of the Week, as well as also Consensus National Player of the Week. You know, he's going to be a tough bat to try to face. But, you know, Pitt, they're getting it together, 12-3 so far, but did drop a game at Santa Clara last night.
3-out count here to Eric Gian. Pitt Panthers picked to finish 14th in the ACC out of the 16 teams. Stanford Cardinal picked 10th. And there's a strike coming in from Dixon. Cardinal finished 13th in the regular season last year, and then they moved on to the ACC tournament. Lost the opening round to Virginia Tech, 7-4. And that is where the season ended. That's fouled back. Back-to-back years without appearing in the NCAA tournament for Stanford. The last time they've gone more than 2 years without an appearance was way back, 13 straight seasons between 1968 and 1980.
Sir David Esker is trying to change that, just knowing it's a new world that we're in right now as a program.
That's lifted high in the air, a tower coming in on the run. Out in shallow left center to make the catch is Keybon. And that's going to do it. But Nati adds to it the solo shot here in the fourth to make it 8-4 Stanford over Nevada heading to the fifth. Back at it here in the top of the fifth inning. Jenna Becerra and Philip Hall with you as Stanford has the lead over Nevada 8-4, and a couple of defensive changes for the Cardinal. Trevor Moore is still on the mound, but Ethan Hott will stay in and play center field after hitting for Brady Reynolds. Marsh will then move over to right field to take the place defensively for Reynolds. And Jace Doby, the senior leading things off, got the start on the mound, has stayed in to hit since being relieved. Take a first pitch ball. He is 1 for 2 with a single back in the first.
Oh, now the mentality changes for Doby, just knowing he got knocked out of the game on the mound, but now he's trying to do everything he can to produce at the plate now for the Wolfpack.
That's definitely the key of being a two-way player. Being able to flip the switch on and off, separate the two, compartmentalize.
Not just the key, it's the life of a two-way player, when you think about it.
That one's fouled out of play.
You know, I stress a lot about the Shohei Ohtani rule. You know, just knowing you have two responsibilities, being a very valuable player in the field. You know, it has to be stressful as a player knowing that you could do it all in a sense. Where, hey, you know, I have more responsibility on the mound than I do at the plate because I can at least control the game to my rhythm.
When some athletes talk about how it's nice because if things aren't going how you planned in one of those areas, you can contribute in the other area still. We're seeing that potentially from Doby here. Wasn't the best start of his career. The first inning and 2/3 of this one. But still in the box trying to contribute. 2-2. That's in the air, out of play once again. A few foul balls here at Sunken Diamond. That one nearly got a fan in the stands.
Didn't even try to go for it. I was like, dude, come on, it's a can of corn for you.
If this were a banana ball, that would have been an out. Pretty solid at bat though from Doby. Keep it going.
He must have forgot his glove at home. I don't blame him.
Swing and a miss there, and the strikeout. Trevor Moore winning the battle here, and it's one away in the fifth.
Trevor Moore, he's been looking pretty good since coming out of the bullpen. You know, this only being his second inning of work, but might be getting a short leash. But can't knock the quality outing relief that he's had tonight, even if it was short-lived. Expect to see more of that later on this year.
Damn it.
Has retired the first 3 he's seen, so he inherited a runner over at first base. Able to get the next hitter, Metro, to ground into the double play. That gets him out of the top of the 4th, and then the strikeout just now in the top of the 5th. And it looks like we will have a change. So 1 full inning pitched for Trevor Moore. We will look to the 4th arm of the game for Stanford. Take a quick break and we'll be back with more details. Back at it here at Klein Field at Sunken Diamond on the campus of Stanford University. The new pitcher on the mound for the Cardinal is the lefty Brock Kettleson. 10 innings pitched so far this season. This is his 4th appearance. He does have 3 starts under his belt as well. Early days, a 7.20 ERA, 11 hits, 8 runs all earned, allowed, 12 strikeouts to 6 walks. Opponents hitting .275 off of him so far here in 2026.
And a freshman from the Santa Cruz mountain town of Scotts Valley. He's also a two-way player himself. He actually started the Monday matchup against Nevada.
First pitch in the air off the bat of Quan. And 1 pitch, 1 out. Efficiency there from Kettleson, and it's now 2 away.
And Quan, who homered his last time up, not wasting any time there. Probably not the wisest decision to swing at the first pitch. Doesn't matter how hot you are. When you're still down by 4 runs, you kind of have to look at a few, especially with a new pitcher coming in.
Another hot hitter in Lee Matsuzaki. He'll take strike 1 coming from Kettleson. Kettleson made the Baseball America inaugural Freshman of the Year preseason watch list. He's also on the watch list for two-way player of the year. And a swing and a miss there, jumping ahead 0-2 here to Matsuzaki.
Sure, that list gets bigger and bigger by the year.
In the dirt. That'll make it 1-2. A walk and a stolen base for Matsuzaki last time up. Popped up the time before that, so looking for his first hit of the day, but he was 4 for 5 the last time out with a double and a couple of RBIs against Pacific in a 12-2 run rule victory. In the dirt once again.
I have to say, Brock Kettleson, him being one of those young arms in this recruiting class of David Eska that he's brought in, he's shown great progress as the games go on.
Gets a swinging strike 3 there. Nice job by Kettleson. Starts with a K for a reason. He'll make it a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the 5th and let Stanford pick up the bats once again. 8-9-1 due up. Bottom of the 5th inning, the Cardinal hang on to the 8-4 lead after leaving the Wolfpack scoreless in the top half for the 2nd inning in a row. Leading off for Stanford in the 8th spot is Luke Lavin. Catcher is 1 for 2 today, a single and a run scored in the 2nd. He did strike out back in the 3rd. This will be his first time facing the reliever in Peyton Dixon.
Lefty on lefty matchup here, and a good number of left-handed hitters Stanford have on their roster.
That one's up and in, and this is the first lefty we've seen from the bullpen from Nevada. Alternating on the Stanford side. Gomez the righty, Shaw the lefty, Moore right-handed, Kettleson the southpaw now in. That one finds the zone to make it 1-1. Dobie got the start, went 1 2/3. Oaks came in to relieve, went 1 1/3. Now Dixon still going to work. It's fouled straight back to the net.
When they're seeing a pitcher like Dixon, you're also seeing a different arm release level Dixon, he's a little bit over the top, maybe a little bit 3.25 when it comes to pitching from the left side.
Damn job, but staying alive and fouled back into the stands. So 1-2. Waits on it, lifts it, popped up into the green, shading towards right center is Keybon, and he'll make the catch. Out number 1 in the books.
As the air gets colder here tonight, the ball is going to kind of die a little bit in the air. Nevada, they're spoiled playing in Reno because of the elevation level where, the ball just travels on its own whenever you put it up in the air.
Tatum Marsh taking ball 1. 1 for 2 with an RBI. That's outside off the plate. 2-0, hitters count.
You think about high elevation states like Utah, Colorado, Nevada, maybe depending on where you are, Arizona. It's always like if, say you're in a plane, right? Like that tailwind helps you get the extra speed, and when it comes to hitting a baseball, that tailwind really travels in the air because of like how high you are from sea level.
Closer to sea level here at Stanford as that one is popped in the air in foul territory right side. Making the catch is first baseman Mikey Cruz Jr., and it's 2 up, 2 down. The humidity here closer to sea level, closer to the water. Here in Stanford, California, harder to cut through as night has fully descended now here at Sunken Diamond. And Taro Sasaki finds himself up to bat with 2 outs for the second time in a row. Managed to get the single back in the 3rd inning. First pitch misses. Sasaki moved up to that leadoff spot. He's been moved around a little bit this year in the lineup. That one is fouled back behind the press box.
And for Sasaki, or as being a second-year player, it's just about where Coach Esker is trying to figure out. He's a good hitter all around. It's just where can I fill him in, and to give teams that deception, you can move him to the top, middle, even to the bottom. That at least could give him a feel of like being put into different situations.
He hit 5th 10 times, 6th once in the first 11 games of the season. The last 4, he's been moved up, and he's responded well, hitting .412 in that span with a couple of doubles, couple of homers. He takes strike through there. 5 RBIs, an .882 slugging percentage since he has been in this leadoff spot. 171 average when he has not been in the leadoff spot. That's grounded off the end of the bat to the left side. Shaded over and making the long throw from 3rd is Mecho, and that's going to do it. 3 up, 3 down for Dixon. And after 5 innings in the books, Stanford still with the lead 8-4 over Nevada. Top of the 6th inning and middle of the order due up here for the Wolfpack. Doyle, Cruz, and Waller scheduled to make an appearance. 5 hits so far today for the Wolfpack. They're on to the 4th pitcher they have seen from the Cardinal. The freshman Brock Kettleson off to a good start since he has been on the mound. Doyle, one of the home run hitters in this one. The solo shot back in the 2nd, 1 for 1 with the walk. Grounded first pitch over to 3rd base. Long throw from behind the bag. Little bit wide. Sasaki has to come off of first base. So Doyle will be in there safely and a runner aboard.
As always, the toughest play to make on a ground ball. Moran having to play deep there near the foul line. And, sometimes it's 50-50 if you're going to hit the target across the diamond. But, you just kind of have to shake it off and bounce back and, change the mindset. Hey, let's focus on the next play.
Mikey Cruz Jr. fouls the first pitch out of play. Really good on Sasaki for making sure you got to come off the bag and catch it. The last thing you want is for it to get by and you give up another 90 feet and the runner's in scoring position. 0-1 count. Make it 1-1. 0 for 2 on the day is Cruz, a strikeout and a pop-up. He'll take that pitch to make it 2-1. Nevada team, 8-5 on the year coming into this. Have not started conference play yet. We mentioned they'll go up against Fresno State to start things off this weekend, and that is lined into the outfield. It's going to fall in. Taking a couple of bags is Doyle, and Cruz is aboard with his first hit of the day.
And Mikey Cruz able to break the 0 for there. Just, kind of caught that one off the end of the bat. Just dumped it in. Whereas they were probably playing him deep that time. But now the Wolfpack trying to get a rally going here. Still nobody out.
Back-to-back singles. Runners at the corners. As that first one from Doyle ruled an infield hit. Waller now looking for his first hit. After a pop-up and a strikeout, and Lavin will keep that in front. Nevada team coming off of a regular season championship in the Mountain West. Picked to win it in the preseason coaches poll. Out of the 9 teams, they had 5 first place votes. Fresno State picked second with 3. Grand Canyon, its first year in the conference, coming from the WAC. They got 1 first place vote as well.
Talk about another conference that's pretty deep up and down as well. It's cliche that parity is always present in college baseball, but the Mountain West right now, UNLV the best team at 13-5 overall, New Mexico 12-5 overall, Nevada and third best overall right now.
Yeah, the Wolfpack had a conference high 5 players named to the preseason honoree list.
Yep.
Castro, Doby, Harvey, Kwan, and Yamaguchi, and one of 2 teams that had multiple on the list. That's into the outfield, Hightower. Coming in to make the catch is Hot. And tagging to come in, it'll be the sacrifice fly and the RBI for Waller. That's run number 5 that comes across for the Wolfpack. They're now within 3.
Oh, this is a quality at bat there for Jackson Waller. He's been having a rough night at the plate, but whenever you can put yourself in a good spot to where you can help the team manage a few runs, he could do just that, and he did it right there with the sac fly.
An intelligent out. Still productive. First time that Nevada has scored since back in the 3rd inning. Still the 1 out. Cruz stayed over at first base. Nate Snakenborg takes a couple of balls to make it 2-0. It's just the 3rd game that Snakenborg has played in this season. We're used to seeing Jake Harvey, who's on the Buster Posey Award watch list this year. Back-to-back seasons. Named the number 36 catcher by D1 Baseball. Snakenborg did get the single. Back in the 4th, looking to make the most of this opportunity once again. That's over the plate. 3-1.
Kelson, he has a habit of trying to pound the strike zone when he's behind. He always finds a way to fight back whenever he can.
Gets him swinging there to fill the count at 3-2. Big pitch coming up on the payoff. Fouls it off, out of play. We'll do it again.
You mentioned Jake Harvey. Even though he doesn't play every day, currently rides a 6-game hitting streak for the times that he's been in the lineup.
Takes that one for ball 4. A solid AB from Snakenborg. Runners now at first and second with 1 out as Mecho steps up.
You know, Nate Snakenborg, he's really trying to position himself to steal playing time from Jake Harvey, just knowing, you know, how well his approach is at the plate and how good on defense he is behind the plate. You just think about him only starting in a handful of games this year, not getting too many at-bats, but he's trying to make the most of it when he gets penciled in the lineup.
He'll stay over at first base. Kettleson keeping an eye on the runners aboard. Squaring around a bunt and fouling it off is Mecho. Not a bad idea. 0 for 1 today. Did walk back in the third and then scored. They grounded into a double play last time up.
Yeah, Nevada do have an out to give. You know, you want to try to move the runners over, especially if you, like with your top of the order, that's hopefully can be due up. You know, you got Big Aaron Keybon waiting on deck.
Pitches upstairs to even it up at 1-1.
And these are the kind of situations that Jordan Getzelman gets his guys to train for, knowing his prowess as the former hitting coach now for Nevada, spent 3 years in that role before he was promoted to head coach.
And the recruiting coordinator. So a big part of the talent that they've been able to bring to Reno, now in his first season as the skipper, but 4th overall. It's fouled back by Mecho. And Getzelman was named the head coach back on December 1st, 2025. That's after Jake McKinley, the reigning Mountain West Coach of the Year, took a job as the Major League Field Coordinator with the Seattle Mariners. Wolfpack 87-87 since Getzelman has been on staff. In the dirt, Lavin keeps it in front. Working deep in the count.
It's not a bad gig to have your Coach McKinley. You know, for Seattle Mariners, a franchise on the rise right now, hoping to put together another possible World Series run this year. But hey, it's a good place to be right now.
More barrel on that pitch, but still foul to the right side. And some familiarity for this Nevada program, getting to keep Getzelman. You know, since 2023, there have been 11 All-Mountain West players. 7 of them have joined those ranks since Getzelman has been on staff. Up and away. That is ball 4 and back-to-back walks to the 8-9 hitters. Bases are juiced back to the top of the order for the Wolfpack.
And this is the kind of situation that Brock Kettleson was hoping not to find himself in. You know, he had to deal a lot with this in the last game against Nevada, and the same could be said with the rest of the Stanford pitching staff in the last game. But, you know, this has been a common thing that the Cardinal pitchers have had to deal with.
And a conversation once again out on the mound here at Sunken Diamond. Tough position to put yourself in. There's been a couple of singles, the sac fly, but then a couple of walks. Still the 1 out. So some options defensively, as the infield is also involved in the conversation out there.
And David Esker has really had to go this bullpen a lot. You know, arms just continue to get loose over down the right field line. But got to be very cautious, just knowing that you got a big series coming up against Pitt. You know, a team that you really want to, you know, get some wins against, just knowing how good they're starting to look. So, you know, this has to be a game where you have to salvage as many arms as you can.
Dominic Keybon with the first one up the first base line. The underhand from Kettleson in there in time, but another productive out brings the run across as Cruz comes to score.
Yeah, it's just one of those plays where, you know, if that's all you're going to get, then that's all you're going to get. Smart move there by Kettleson to lead the mound, get the toss over to Sasaki. And Nevada had an out to give there anyway, but they made the most of it.
So now within 2, as that's the 6th run of the game for the Wolfpack. Both runners advanced. 2nd and 3rd here with 2 outs and another timeout for Stanford. There's a pitching staff that came in as a group into this ball game. 6.58 ERA for Stanford. 4 pitchers that we have seen so far today, all navigating some traffic.
It looks like we're going to get the 5th pitcher to come into this game for Stanford. Yeah, they open up the gate for the next arm to come out of the pen.
Looks like that's going to be the senior, Torrin O'Haron, coming in. Also made an appearance in the last inning in Game 3 against Wake Forest on the road this past weekend. Torrin O'Haron, his 6th appearance on the season. He's 1-1, 3.24 ERA. He's got a save as well. 8 1/3 innings pitched, 12 hits allowed, 8 runs, only 3 of which have been earned. 8 strikeouts to 4 walks. Opponents so far hitting .343 against him.
Yeah, Torrin O'Haron, he did come in relief in that Monday matchup against Nevada. But that was really the outing where he got knocked around a little bit. He was on the bad side of that 5-run comeback that the Wolfpack were able to put together to come back to get that win last time they were here on the farm. So this is a redemption outing for Torrin O'Haron to try to change the script against a team that I'm sure has lived in his head rent-free for the last 10 days.
Seniors out of Rockland, California. Another one of the upperclassmen that can help shepherd the bullpen from a leadership perspective. He's one of now 3 pitchers for Stanford that did appear in their last game out. On Saturday was the doubleheader for games 2 and 3 against Wake Forest. Shaw pitched 2/3 of an inning. Moore threw a couple of innings, and then O'Haron that last inning, allowing 3 earned runs. It's going to be 2, 3, 4 scheduled up should the inning continue. Jace Doby takes strike 1 from O'Haron. 1 for 3 with a single and a stolen base. Struck out last time up. Jumping ahead quickly, 0-2. Attacking the zone is Torrin O'Haron.
Don't waste any time. You just got to go at him, get your guys back up to the plate.
The 0-2 fouled off just down that first base line.
Woo, that was almost trouble off the bat of Dolby.
Protective swing, expanding the zone. Still stand at 0-2. Runner still at 2nd and 3rd here with 2 outs. Nice spot just off the plate. Not a bad 0-2 pitch, but an even better take from Doby.
And you would need a magnifying glass to see how close that one was off the plate there. Not a bad pitch to throw by O'Haron.
That's grounded left side. Cutting it off is Bates on the run. The one hop to Sasaki in time. Sasaki with the throw to home just to make sure, but the third out recorded at first base. What a play from Charlie Bates, and Stanford will get out of it, but a couple of runs come across for the Wolfpack. 8-6, Stanford still with the lead. They'll try to add to it with Tokheim, Bates, and Moran due up next. So Stanford thought they got out of it defensively with the play from Charlie Bates over to first, but that previous play will be under review. So the umpires are taking a second look. And today it's Harrison Silverman behind the plate, by the way. Mike Green at first, Brooke O'Hearn at second, and Alex Nash at third base. That's your umpiring crew.
And we're having to hold our horses here at Sunken Diamond, and for Nevada trying to hold their wolves here. But yeah, it was a bang play there at the first base bag, and you can't deny how great of defense Charlie Bates has been playing as shortstop tonight. And this could be a momentum switch if the call were to go the other way.
If it gets overturned, which it does have to have irrefutable evidence to be able to do that, Snakenborg did come around to score. And then Mecho, the play at home, as Sasaki threw it home because he wasn't sure what the call was. You know, they might be within one or tied up here.
There were 2 outs already. So the worst case scenario is that it stays a 2-run lead for Stanford, but for the Wolfpack, they're just praying right now to the baseball gods that they can go into the next inning with this being a tie ball game.
If the call is overturned, at least one more run comes across. Snakenborg did score when that ball was put into play. The question would be, the play at home after that, as Metro came around to score, would that be out number 3?
It could be a double whammy.
Yeah, that could possibly be out number 3, but that would still be run number 7 for Nevada.
Yeah, you bring up a good point there, Jenna. Like that, not only would that play at first be crucial, but so could that play at home. And I think the play at home could save Stanford as far as them trying to keep a lead.
And that's why it was smart as well that Sasaki made that throw to home. He doesn't have time to wait and turn around and look at the umpire to see what the call is. Finish the play. You assume things are live.
Yeah. Even if it was just a chain reaction for Sasaki to make that throw to home, it was still a smart heads-up baseball play. And I mean, it just goes to show what is IQ in the field is like, just knowing like, oh man, like, let me still keep playing. Let me just keep playing, just knowing what can happen. But here comes the word.
Yeah, the umpire's jogging back out to deliver the verdict. So the call at first is overturned. The one run comes around to score, that is Snakenborg, but out number 3 is recorded at home plate, as we were just discussing. So Mecho will be that third out. It's a 1-run ball game, 8-7. Stanford still in the lead, but hey, the Wolfpack right there with them.
And before we go to break, I just want to say that I'm telling you, that throw from Sasaki really saved Stanford's rear ends right there, because man, you just think about what transpired there. You know, it keeps Stanford above water for right now, but that was a big play made by the Stanford first baseman in a situation where you don't really think about it until you realize it.
And it turns into an RBI single for Doby. Again, the Wolfpack within 1 run. It's a 1-run ball game as we head to the bottom of the 6th. A little bit more motivation for the Cardinal as they're going to pick up the bats. Well, some top half of the inning theatrics after 3 runs ultimately come across. The reverse call at first base led to run number 7 for Nevada. They trail Stanford by 1. The Wolfpack now make another move on the mound, and it's going to be the freshman Kainoa Kaneshiro out of Pearl City, Hawaii, making just his 2nd appearance of the season. 1 inning under his belt in his collegiate career. He has 1 strikeout, no walks, a couple of hits, 1 run that was earned so far, but still very early days in his career.
Yeah, Kaneshiro still very green to the college game, but Jordan Getzelman, he likes to use these midweek games to throw the young guys on the deep end of the pool. And right now he's coming in, trying to keep a 1-run deficit for his team.
8 hits apiece for both of these squads. Teddy Tokheim will take strike 1 from Kaneshiro. Tokheim might be the right guy to get things going for the Cardinal. 1 for 2 with the double, has an RBI, scored a couple of runs after he got walked as well in the 2nd as well as the 1st. And he fouls that pitch off. Nevada pitching coach Mark Moriarty, also in his 4th season on the staff. He's been with Getzelman since he's been on staff. Previously with the Minnesota Twins and some minor league ball. Division II, University of Mary, as that's strike 3, and a good start from Kaneshiro.
Yeah, there's 3 pitches, 3 problems there for Teddy Tokheim. Lead off the inning, and Kaneshiro just gave him the off-speed stuff and just, put it right through. Yeah, this is a guy that is going to attack these Stanford hitters.
See if he goes after Charlie Bates. 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and an extra base hit. That first pitch misses off the plate outside. Bates responsible for 3 of the 8 runs for Stanford so far today. He's 1 for 4 with the home run in Game 3 against Wake Forest. Turns on it. Bloop into right, potentially, but going back and making the grab at second base is Kwan. 2 up, 2 down, and Kaneshiro off to a good start.
It's kind of production you love to see from your relievers, guys that can just come in to get quick outs. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Quick outs against some hot bats, too. Tokheim and Bates with some RBIs on the day, and now it's J.J. Moran who's looking for his first hit. He was hit by a pitch back in the 2nd, but 0 for 2 so far. First pitch in for a strike. Kaneshiro also doing a nice job of attacking the zone. Not falling too far behind. Misses inside. Even count now 1-1.
Kaneshiro's thrown now 2 balls. The balls haven't been in bad locations. The pitching zone, I have to say.
Effectively wild. I wouldn't call him wild, but sometimes that's done on purpose, as that is fouled out of play. If you throw everything over the wide of the plate, it gets a little too easy for hitters.
Yeah. With him being a freshman, that's just experience showing up early.
We heard some cheers, too, from the dugout and Nevada fans when he came out. And a strike 3 once again. Kaneshiro retires the side. A 1-2-3 inning for the freshman. Nevada with some momentum as they trail by 1 heading to the 7th.
Now 3/4 of the way home in a very tight ball game here tonight in this midweek rematch with Stanford leading Nevada 8-7. As for Nevada, they've been able to chip away at this deficit. Kind of give you a little bit of a recap. This game started with Stanford getting on the board first thanks to a RBI double from Charlie Bates. Then the following inning, the bottom half of the second, Stanford put up a 6 spot. But then Nevada really started to get things rolling on offense thanks to a Junyuk Kwan home run. Give him a 3-run third inning. And Stanford able to only get 1 run in the last 4 innings played, but Nevada were able to put up 3 in the top of the 6th. Now here's Junyuk Kwan leading off the top of the 7th now, with O'Haron still in the ball game. Check the swing there as he was able to hold up.
And some of the good news for Nevada is, all of their runs prior were off of the long ball. But that 3-run spot in the 6th, they manufactured. Able to get the sac fly RBI, then an RBI single. They're able to just move runners around, stay disciplined at the plate, draw the walks. You have to be able to score in different ways, and they've done that.
A 1-2, and it hits Kwan. Not the kind of start you want to have this late in the game. But now, just like that, the Wolfpack with the tying run on base. Now you're going to get to the meat of the Nevada order. Here comes Lee Matsuzaki. Matsuzaki has a walk with a stolen base in his 3 trips to the plate tonight. Take a look at ball 1.
One of those hitters that he's due. He's seen more pitches. Taking big hacks like the one we just saw right there.
Yeah, he's trying to do more than just tie the game. He really wants to get around on something here. The 1-1. Matsuzaki swinging at the air there.
I consider throwing it again. Back to back, kind of chasing that pitch.
O'Haron staying low in the zone against him.
He made the adjustment there, though. Matsuzaki taking that pitch that time. I would have done the same thing if I'm O'Haron. Do it again until he proves otherwise.
Yeah, set up for the 2-2. Swung on and miss. Matsuzaki goes down on strikes for the 2nd time.
That was the same pitch on all 3 strikes. So that's where you go back to the fundamentals and think about the adjustments you have to make if you're Matsuzaki, but take advantage of it if you're Torrin O'Haron. I think that's a nice job.
It's not out of the woods just yet. He has to see Jacob Doyle. Doyle hit 1 of the 2 home runs hit tonight by Nevada. That home run came in the 2nd inning. O'Haron firing a strike right across. And O'Haron can put one on the ground and set up for a double play chance. Oh, grounds it over to 3rd. Moran picks it. Throw on the 1st is in time. So they're able to get 1 there. There's 2 gone.
Good job by Moran, understanding the time that he had. It was hit very softly, didn't have time to get that lead runner at second base, so allow your momentum to take you towards first. Get the sure thing.
Yeah, that ground out does move Quan into scoring position. Mikey Cruz, who was able to break out of his 0-4 his last time up with a single, also came around to score. Earned that 3-run sixth inning. He'll step in the box here. Cruz looks at strike one. Count now goes even at 1 apiece.
Cruz's at-bats have been trending in the right direction. He struck out, he popped up, but then fought for that single last time up.
Swung on a miss there. O'Haron put that one right past him.
Sounded like a broken record, but I'd throw it again.
Cruz having to protect with 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2 from O'Haron. Missed away. Trying to live with the fastball. We're noticing that O'Haron just wants to pump it. 2-2 pitch coming. That's it. Just foul left of the third base bag.
The sequence from O'Haron, going wide off the plate outside, then going in, trying to jam him on the hands. Have to be able to change planes, change speed, and work both sides of the plate.
And O'Haron blows him away. This stays a 1-run ball game. That's Torin O'Haron trying to keep the card out in front. Stretch time here on the farm. 8-7. Stanford still lead. You're tuned into college baseball here on the ACC Network Extra. Oh, it's Natai, Hot, and Gion due up here in the bottom of the 7th. Stanford trying to look to get some insurance. Kainoa Kaneshiro has been looking good for the Wolfpack, coming out of the bullpen in the last inning where he had 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning, retiring the top part of the Stanford order. Strike one to Natai, who hit a home run in the bottom of the 4th. The last run that has since been scored for Stanford in this game.
Tight ball games are not unfamiliar to Stanford. 6 of the first 9 games they played were decided by 1 run. 4 of the last 6 losses were decided by 3 runs. 8 of the last 10 losses, the tying run was at the plate in the 8th or the 9th.
0-2 fouled straight back by Natai.
So experiencing that pressure, that part's not new. Had a walk-off in Game 1 against Fresno State a week ago, another Mountain West foe that they have faced recently.
Oh, Natai sends it out to left field, and that ball is gone. I'll have another, sir. Jimmy Natai, second homer of the game, second one in back-to-back at-bats, and that's the insurance that Stanford have been looking for.
The timing of these bombs, both solo shots. But when Stanford hasn't scored in a little while, back in the 4th and now here in the 7th, those are the last 2 runs the Cardinal have brought across, and it's thanks to Jimmy Natai.
2-homer game for the man from down under. There's Ethan Hott. A little step in the box here. And Australia could have used him in the World Baseball Classic, I may say. Kind of pop he brings to the plate.
Yeah, we said earlier, Nadai led the team with 16 home runs and 50 RBIs last year. So steady defensively, too. A .980 fielding percentage over there at second base. That's leading by example, too, when they need it the most.
Oh, to the hot, missed outside.
That's the deepest hot's gone in a count. You know, first pitch you saw last time when he was up. He was hit by it immediately.
That was off the 1-2. The last time that Jimmy Nadai had a 2-homer game, it came last year in a matchup against Grand Canyon on May 10th. And that was a year where he hit 16 bombs. And actually doubled what he did his sophomore year. That one's hit right back up the box from Hot.
That's a quality AB right there from Ethan Hott. Going deep in the count, he had 2 strikes on him, works it back hard, right back up the middle. That's all you can ask for. And that second home run from Jimmy Nadai, that extends the streak of multiple home run games for Stanford to 8. 22 in total in that span.
There's Eric Gion. Taking off for second is Hot. He'll get in without a throw.
Stay hot, Ethan. Making the most of his time on the base paths.
Even also to mention the last 2 home run performance that I had last year, as Gion sends it out to left center. Gonna be playable for Keybon. He'll make the catch. There's the first out of the inning. Yeah, to touch more about the run that Jimmy Nadai went on, to close out the year. He actually went the next 5 games where in those 5 games he hit 4 home runs. This continuous power that gradually grows as he continues to develop as a player, and I'm sure he's going to be in that conversation of possible, champion or home run champion for the ACC this year. Kanashiro's throw goes into center field. That's going to allow Hot to advance to third.
That's the risk when you try to go after a base runner, especially knowing the speed. Hot had been pushing the envelope. He stole second base. He even had a hard tag just to draw the throw from the outfield on the fly out from Gion. Putting the pressure on the defense, you can make things happen.
Hot now just 90 feet from home. Luke Lavin, who singled all the way back in the second inning, trying to have some late game heroics here. Trying to add on to the now 2-run lead for the Card. Last 2 at-bats, he struck out and he flew out to center field. Missed low. Try to look for an appeal at third base, but Alex Nash says no on the swing.
That was a good take. We've seen some hitters chasing on both sides of that pitch.
Also starting to see the Wolfpack infield playing in. They're trying to protect any more runs trying to come across for Stanford.
It's a big backstop too here at Sunken Diamond.
Lavin got jammed there, but he was able to flare it just over the second baseman. That's going to be enough for Hot to score. A little Texas leaguer works in the favor for Luke Lavin as he delivers with his second hit of the game, this time with interest, to now have Stanford crack double digits, 10-7.
Back-to-back games where the Cardinal have brought across double-digit runs, and Lavin just doing enough to get it out of the infield with the runner over at third base. But a lot of credit to Hot for really manufacturing that run, taking second, forcing the error to get to third. It's a nice job.
On hit hard and past the glove of Waller in the left field. Tatum Marsh doing damage in that 9th spot tonight. That's his second single of the game. Just like that, Stanford back to the top of the order with Rentaro Sasaki.
And a dozen hits that they have racked up now tonight. And that's something that they've done plenty of times this season, double-digit hits. 13 last time out, 12 already here, putting the pressure on Kaneshiro.
The mound visit for Nevada. You see their pitching coach trying to come out and calm down Kaneshiro, who really came out of the bullpen looking pretty good, but now, Stanford kind of knocking him around a little bit in this inning.
Yeah, 3 up, 3 down, back in the 6th with a couple of Ks in his back pocket, but some adjustments being made by these Stanford hitters. And just the tone that Jimmy Nadai set by going yard to lead off this inning has really set things in motion for the Cardinal.
There is a bit of a shift being put on here against Sasaki. This is a big hitter at the plate right now for Stanford.
Saw this a little bit last time he was up.
First pitch to him just runs in.
The ground out to the left side was really more to where a true shortstop would play, but handled by the third baseman, Mecho. And the shortstop, Waller, on the other side of second base.
On's hit hard, and it's going to get through the hole. Rounding third, and coming around is Lavin. The throw goes to third. Marsh able to get in with a slide. Hit Zilla. Rentaro Sasaki delivers to make it now an 11-7 lead for the Card.
Something a little extra sweet when you have the shift on and somehow you're still able to find a hole the way Sasaki did. That 3-4 spot on the right side, sneaks it through, and the Cardinal continue to roll.
Rentaro Sasaki delivers with his 8th RBI on the season. Jordan Getzelman coming out and looks like he's going to give Kaneshiro the hook. So a 3-run bomb of the 7th has helped Stanford add on to this lead, which was looking pretty tight, as you see they're getting hyped up over there in the dugout, trying to keep this rally going and keep the energy going. New arm coming out for Nevada. We'll take a break and give you the rundown as Stanford having a solid bomb of the 7th. Stanford able to knock out Kainoa Kaneshiro from the game, as now the Wolfpack are going to have to go to Eric Valdez, making his 5th appearance on the year. Valdez trying to manage a deficit that is starting to fade away now for Nevada in this game. And Valdez, senior from Reno, JUCO transfer out of Feather River College.
Yeah, when you're the senior out of Reno, you tend to have a little extra pride when you wear Nevada across your chest like Eric Valdez does. 1-1 on the season so far, 8 1/3 innings pitched. He's got 13 strikeouts to 7 walks, 5 runs, which are all earned. Opponents hitting just .219 against him.
Coming in a tough spot with runners at the corners. Marsh at third, Sasaki at first. They'll see Teddy Tokheim. Three runs put up in this inning for the Card so far. One-0 from Valdez. It's low for ball 2.
Snakenborg doing a nice job behind the dish. Always pressure with runners on, but a little more so when there's a runner on third. It's a 70-foot backstop from home plate here at Sunken Diamond, so lots of room for anything wild.
Inside, 3-0. See if Tokheim gets the green light. There is one gone, so Nevada can try to set up for a double play attempt. Takes all the way across the plate for a strike. Ball 4. Tokheim works the free pass. Now the bases are juiced.
Good patience at the plate. You see your teammates getting a bunch of hits, stacking them up here in the 7th, but you're not overly anxious. Still manage to stay disciplined and draw the walk.
Here comes Charlie Bates, who's been having an excellent day at the plate. 2 for 4. Most of his hitting has come early in the game. An RBI double at first. And a single in the second, as we're actually going to get a pinch runner at first base. That's Brock Sell coming in the pinch run for Tokheim. That's going to be the night for Tokheim, as Sell in the pinch run at first. That ball almost gets away. Snakenborg having to retrieve it. That was one more time. Marsh is at third, Sasaki at second. Now it's Brock Sell at first after Teddy Tokheim worked the walk. Charlie Bates at the plate to really set things off here. Just missed. 2-0. Now Valdez can't seem to find the strike zone.
Being a little extra careful with Charlie Bates, but nowhere to put him.
Swings at the 3-0, hit hard at second. They're going to try to turn 2 here. The throw to first is late. Waller couldn't get over to Cruz in time, as that allows Marsh to score. Charlie Bates with a productive ground out. Now make it a 5-run lead for Stanford.
Continuing with the theme that we've seen of some intelligent outs, but we may have another look here potentially.
So we'll have to go to our replay review. And it's another challenge that the Wolfpack are going to put on, try to at least get something out of this. This has not been a good inning for Nevada. They have just fallen apart, just knowing that they once again had Stanford in the grasp of their palm.
Well, and this would be an interesting swing, of course. The run coming across there because the call on the field that Bates was able to run it out at first. But should that get overturned in the double play stand, Nevada would be out of the inning. That run does not count, and it would be a 4-run ball game instead of 12-7 like we see now.
Yeah, it at least keeps you close enough. And if it were to go to that Jenna, all you really would need in the next inning is a grand slam, or grand slam to get the lead back. At least 3 to bring across. But it's just been a game of runs. It's kind of almost like in basketball when a team goes on a run to stretch the lead, but then the opposer starts to get a little bit of run to cut into the deficit, and it's just been that, like we think about it in baseball terms. Stanford has had a big inning. Nevada have had big innings. So it's just a flip-flop. Brian Crew returns to the field, so here comes the word. So Bates able to stay put at first on the fielder's choice and will drive in that run with the RBI. So it does now become a 5-run lead for Stanford, still with runners at the corners.
Second review we've seen today. The first one overturned, this one confirmed. It's now 13 hits for Stanford tonight. Second time they batted around, too.
That's right. So Sasaki is at third. He advanced to third on that play. So that took Brock Sell off the base paths with Charlie Bates now at first after the call was confirmed that he was safe. Now J.J. Moran, dangerous hitter coming up, trying to turn his night around. He has struck out twice and 4 trips to the plate, this being his 5th. Allen runs in and he gets hit by the pitch, so he gets put on here. The second time that he's been hit tonight.
Yeah, Bates was taken off on that one, but turns out he was going to make it to second base regardless. We've seen both sides just give away some freebies, some hit batters, some walks. And usually what comes after that is the other team making you pay.
And it's almost like deja vu now as Jimmy Natai comes up for the second time in this inning. Oh, man. Bases loaded. He's already has 2 home runs on the game. That's how this inning really kicked off. Swings and misses at the first pitch. Get the camera ready, folks. Natai could really do something magical here in this at-bat.
Both times they hit around. Started with Jimmy Natai.
0-1 at a quarter swing. Go for an appeal. Oh, they're going to say it was a hit by pitch instead.
Yep.
That's going to bring home Sasaki. Man, Natai having luck go his way there.
Yeah, Harrison Silverman asking Mike Green for help over at first base. He confirmed there was no swing, so therefore it was the hit by pitch RBI, the classic hit by pitch RBI.
Sometimes a little bit of pain comes with some reward. What's the old saying? No pain, no gain. So
take one for the team, literally.
Jimmy Natai's great night continues as give him another RBI to add to his totals in this one.
Yeah, 5 in total on the day, not too shabby.
There's Ethan Hott. You'll look at ball 1 in the dirt. So Bates moves to third. Moran at second, Natsai now at first. Ethan Hott with his second at bat of the inning. He singled at a stolen base. Also came around and scored.
2 innings with at least 5 runs for Stanford tonight. And they've scored in 4 innings.
It's crazy work by the team. Just knowing how Stanford have been a lot of high-scoring games. This time they're trying to be on the winning side of it. Bit of an off-balance swing. Down the count 1-2. Eric Valdez. Going to come back with the 1-2 pitch here. He had Hot chasing in the dirt there, as that's going to end the inning, but Stanford putting the in insurance that inning as they put up 5, making it now a 13-7 game. We'll go to the top of the 8th. Nevada trying to come back, and they're going to need a lot of work to do so. Well, Stanford put 5 on it to add on to the lead here, 13-7, now on the top of the 8th. Few changes in the field for the Cardinal. Brock Sell, who came in a pinch run, he'll go to left field in replacement for Teddy Tokheim. And now on the mound, coming in relief, is Mike Erspammer, freshman from San Clemente, California. We'll see Jackson Waller, who will lead off for the Wolfpack. Look at strike 1, but man, Jenna, Nevada has got knocked around, more like punched around in that bottom half of the 7th.
Yeah, and Stanford really getting the bats going, to say the least, but at the same time, you know, certain moments, not helping yourself out, right? Hitting a batter, walking a batter, trying to minimize those mistakes.
Erspammer with a grunt there, missed way outside. Waller fouls off the 2-1.
Yeah, Erspammer, his 6th appearance. 6 2/3 innings before this, with 9 strikeouts, 9 walks on the year.
Fouled right on the plate. And Waller did deliver with a sacrifice fly in the 6th inning. They were able to drive in a run. He's going to hit that one hard right back in the center field. Waller able to reach base for the first time tonight.
Nice progression with his at-bats in this one. A pop-up and a strikeout in his first couple times up, and then the sac fly RBI last time, gets the single here this time. Those are the adjustments you hope to see late in the game.
Nate Snakenberg comes up to the plate. I want to update you on what's happening across Stanford Athletics, as you got a load of events coming up this weekend. You had Stanford Beach Volleyball taking on Houston Christian on Friday, as well as also taking on Washington. The Washington Huskies making their way down from the Pacific Northwest for some beach volleyball action. All coming this Friday. It's going to be a beach volleyball doubleheader here on the farm. Then you also have some softball at Notre Dame. Fighting Irish coming out here to play Stanford, just right next door.
Yeah, they'll host the series. 3rd series of ACC play for softball in the new Stanford Softball Stadium. 4-2 in ACC play. They took the series last week.
Oh, Snakenborg sent fly ball to right, but it will be playable for Marsh. Just a few feet in front of the warning track. There's one gone. Now to continue the athletics slate, men's volleyball has a matchup against BYU, also taking place on Friday. And then Now, let's not forget, there is some baseball coming up. The ACC home opener for Stanford, as they'll be welcoming the Pitt Panthers. Game set to start at 6:05. Men's tennis also coming up with SMU.
Got men's gymnastics and then women's gymnastics senior day actually on Sunday. They'll be taking on Boise State. But 2 meets this week. They'll go over to Berkeley on Friday for a tri-meet. If they are able to outlast the Bears for the second time this season, they will be the outright ACC champions. They've already clinched a share of the title at least. They're undefeated in ACC. But if the Bears were to punch back this time, they might share that title. It's a good old-fashioned Bay Area rivalry. I will be on the call for that, by the way, if that wasn't clear. As well as the first 2 softball games hosting Notre Dame.
Man, you have a busy day, Jen. I hope you hope you got a good coffee machine at home. There's Jack Metso, and the count at 1-0. Strike 1 by Spammer. Now, I'll be on the call here at Sunken Diamond come Friday night. So it'll be a fun one. Of course, Pitt, they've been doing a tour of the Bay last few games. Like, they had a weekend series a few minutes south of us at San Jose State. And of course, mentioned earlier, they had their midweek matchup at Santa Clara. Where Santa Clara actually pulled off a surprise win, winning by 1 run in that game last night.
Stanford softball got the sweep over the Pitt Panthers last weekend here at home. Baseball program will try to follow suit this coming weekend.
Hey, you think about the new landscape now, the ACC, those teams trying to get the most out of their West Coast swings. For a team like Pitt, trying to be like, yeah, we can play 3 against San Jose State, then we'll take care of Santa Clara, at least try to. They weren't able to, but you kind of get my drift. Think about them coming out to the West Coast as Jack Metso goes down on strike 3. But just knowing what's at stake now in the ACC, these East Coast teams, they're trying to do more than just get flyer mile points and travel and hotel points on their trips out here. They're trying to stack up wins.
That's one thing that a lot of head coaches across sports talk about. And while the travel might be a little bit more difficult because you have the cross-country piece of it to now manage, you get to go to a lot of new schools, a lot of new places. So it's an interesting experience for the student athletes to get to see different environments and different fan bases.
For sure, as Ramnik Kevon will come up here. And you just think about how much of a change it is for the East Coast teams. They were always so used to not have such strenuous travel schedules. I don't know if Pitt were on spring break, but they're missing a lot of games just to get as many games against these California programs. It kind of takes a toll on the student athletes. I mean, you're missing a lot of class. You're hoping that, you can still, manage your body by how long of a flight it is to get from, like in this example, Pittsburgh to, I don't know if they flew into SFO or Oakland or San Jose. I mean, again, that's hearsay, but
some of the biggest learnings that coaches talk about is around the travel and how they can optimize it. So some of it is what kind of recovery are they doing, what time are they taking the flights, for example, and they're much more dialed in. That's really what you learn a lot about from year 1 to year 2 in this new era of realignment.
Kevon able to work the 4-pitch walk there. Wolfpack with 2 on, with 2 out. Yeah, just looking up and down the schedule for now Stanford officially getting into the meat of ACC play, but they're going to have a pretty good homestand, so it kind of saves the team from doing some extra travel, at least for the next week or so.
for those East Coast teams, you know, in the ACC in particular, there's SMU, sure, but for the most part, going all the way out to the West Coast, it's just Cal and Stanford. Cal and Stanford are the programs across sports who are doing the most travel, having to go east a lot more often. So it ends up being a little bit more of a vacation for some of the East Coast schools when they come out here.
And we're Stanford, they're going to welcome Utah Valley, so it gives them a break from the really tough ACC schedule that they're going to have. But their next road trip isn't until the end of the month when they go out to play Virginia Tech.
Blacksburg's a fun town. Really great fan base for Virginia Tech, Hokie Nation just across the board. Not an easy place to play as a visiting team.
There's a 2-1 on Jace Dobie. I'll look at strike 2. And with conference play already getting off and rolling, you know, Wake Forest, of course, with the sweep over Stanford, 3-0, sitting at the top of the conference. Georgia Tech 2-1 in conference play. Virginia, Notre Dame, Boston College, all even. 2 wins and a loss. And man, you can really see the standings really shake up a lot before they go into the conference tournament.
Oh yeah, especially how early it is in the conference slate right now. Things are going to shake up quite a bit as the play goes on.
There's the payoff to Dobie. Ground ball hit the second. Natsai playing to his left. Gets the routine throw to first. Light work for Jimmy Natsai tonight. Nevada not able to mount much. They're in the top of the 8th. They lead 2-1. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Stanford trying to put the Wolfpack away. Jordan Getzelman having to go again to his bullpen late in the game. Now it's going to be Grayson Osborne, freshman from Miliani, Hawaii. He's a top player coming out of Hawaii. Standout in 2024 state player and pitcher of the year award winner. A solid makeup for a guy that's 5'11", but can produce very well on the mound.
This is Osborne's first career appearance for the freshman. Nothing like coming in late in the game on the road against a tough Stanford offense.
Here's Eric Gion. He'll lead off the bottom of the 8th after Stanford put together a really nice big inning. You know, just a run shy from tying the most runs that they've scored in this game, which was that 6-run inning they had in the second. Gion looks at strike 1 from Osborne. Big swing and a miss by Eric Gion.
Gion just one of 2 hitters in this Stanford lineup looking for a hit still. It's him and J.J. Moran.
The 1-2. Missed a little high there, so Gion able to keep the eyes peeled.
Hitting 357 overall, but 750 as the leadoff.
Takes another good look there. Count now goes full. See who wins the duel between Gian and Osborne. Payoff is hit over at third. Diving stop made by Mitchell and able to get the throw across.
What a play from Mecho. Leave your feet, knock that ball down, but stick with it and get the throw over there still in time. Really well done by the hot corner.
And that was a line drive off the bat of Gian where, Mecho able to put the glove out. At least gave him a chance. Here comes Luke Lavin now. Delivered with an RBI single to provide that 5-run inning that the Cardinal had last time. Missed away. Line score tonight, 7 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Nevada Wolfpack. 13 runs, 13 hits, no errors for the Stanford Cardinal. Three-0 the count goes on Lavin.
One thing that's interesting, 6 pitchers that we've seen so far from Nevada in this one, 5 of them have been righties. So there's been less of a need for an adjustment for some of these hitters, including lefties like Lavin.
There's not really a whole selection of catchers to go to for Stanford on this roster. I mean, most college programs, they max out at 3 catchers when you think about it. I will say Lavin's been playing in a fair amount of games at the start of the year, so he's pretty much been that everyday backstop. The full count pitch coming from Osborne. Ball 4, Lavin works the walk. So you can see just these at-bats are really of high quality for Stanford. That's now 7 base on balls that the Nevada pitching staff has allowed to the Cardinal tonight.
A good take on that too. Would have been easy to chase.
Excuse me, actually make that 6 base on balls, -1. Tatum Marsh. Marsh 2 for 4 on the night as an RBI and came across the score twice. Marsh is a bouncer to third. Mecho picks it up. There's 1 at second, and there's 2 at first. Now the 5-4-3 double play works in favor for the Wolfpack. Now Stanford trying to shut it down, lock the door, throw away the key on the Wolfpack. We'll go to the 9th inning, 13-7 here at Sunken Diamond. Philip Hall and Jenna Becerra with you here on the ACC Network Extra.
Top of the 9th inning, Stanford 3 outs away from closing this one out. They lead 13-7 over the visiting Nevada Wolfpack. Jenna Becerra and Philip Hall with you here in Sunken Diamond. And we do have another new pitcher for the Cardinals. 7th one we have seen today. It is the freshman Colt Peterson out of Orange, California. This is his 7th appearance this season, just a 1.04 ERA and 8 2/3 innings pitched. Couple of hits, only 1 run allowed, 6 strikeouts to 3 walks. Opponents hitting under 100, .080. Check swing strike for the first pitch from Peterson.
Yeah, Peterson, a product of Orange Lutheran High School, big powerhouse in Southern California.
Jun-Yuk Kwon will take strike 2. An 0-2 count, did get the 3-run shot back in the 3rd inning. Helped get things going for Nevada. That's upstairs to make it 1-2.
Yeah, Peterson was voted with the best control in his draft class from Baseball America. He's getting a little pro buzz, especially with him participating in the area code games as well.
Tried to hold, asking for help is Silverman. Green says he did not go. 2-2. Gets a piece. The Stanford team. It's 5-10 overall coming into this midweek matchup. Continue their ACC slate this weekend.
Yeah, big series coming up against Pittsburgh. It's a series you really want to get to really get back in the form. Just knowing it's not going to be much easier than the ACC teams you're going to have to play. Again, that say prediction, Stanford goes for a sweep on the Panthers. Being 500 in a conference like the ACC can really do wonders for your projection.
That's lined hard into left center field. Kwon getting the best of Peterson, and it's a leadoff single and a base runner aboard for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, Jun-Yuk Kwon just continues to be a tough out for the Wolfpack. He's been putting together another quality game at the plate. And this is a guy that Jordan Getzelman really hypes up when it comes to who's the guy to look out for in the lineup.
And it looks like we'll get a pinch runner over at first base for Kwon after getting the leadoff single. It's number 37. Not a 37 listed on the Nevada roster officially, so someone might be mixing up their jersey today. So we'll wait for that info.
It's confirmed.
And the pinch hitter is going to be Noah Blythe in this situation. Blythe coming in for Matsuzaki, who had struck out his last couple at-bats. So Andrew Grenert is typically number 7, but rocking the 37 over there at first base here today. That is hit hard into center field on his horse. The jump to extend and make the grab is Ethan Hott. That one was hot off the bat, but Ethan made the play. Is out number 1.
Man, just talk about just having the perfect read off of the bat there. That one was hit hard off of the bat with Blythe. Able to, have some control out there in the center field. Ethan Hott, just trying to adjust, especially him being a late substitution in this game.
So 1 away here, still with the runner over at first base. Another pinch hitter in this situation. It's the junior from Reno, Sam Kane. First pitch from Peterson in there for a strike. Kane went from high school over to Seattle to start his collegiate career before making his way to Nevada. He'll take strike 2 as Peterson jumps ahead quickly. Fouled out of play above the stands on the right side. Not surprising to see Jordan Getzelman making some changes, trying to mix it up here as the Wolfpack are down to their last 2 outs.
Hey, you just talk about trying to stretch the bench, just knowing you kind of want to keep some guys rested with a pretty big series coming up to open up Mountain West Conference play.
Trying to get the call was Lavin there, but it's going to miss for 1-2. lined right back where it came from. Peterson had to duck out of the way, and trying to take 2 bases and doing so successfully is Grenner. So runners now at the corners with another single from the pinch hitter Kane.
You know, this one starts to become a little bit scary here. You know, it's not a deja vu moment yet. Well, at least, you know, if you're a Stanford fan, you hope that doesn't become one. But, you know, the 9th inning is really where the Wolfpack start to come alive at the plate. You know, Peterson getting knocked around a little bit. You know, those are, you know, some hard hit balls that he's been seeing, you know, since coming out of the bullpen.
And thinking back to the last time these two teams, not too long ago, met up, Stanford was up 6-4 going into the 9th, but a 5-run inning gave the Wolfpack the 9-6 victory. Cardinal not trying to take any chances here, still the 1 out with those runners at the corners.
Now the approach now becomes for Colt Peterson. He's going to really need to work for that ground ball. You know, and Mikey Cruz, not the fastest runner out that right-handed hitter's box, but, you know, double play is going to seal the deal.
Cruz will take ball 1. He is 1 for 4 so far today with a couple of strikeouts, including his last time up back in the 7th. That pitch will miss down and away. Three straight balls.
Well, Pearson's working a lot up in the zone right now. And it was okay to, you know, give Cruz something to hit. It says as long as it's not in his happy zone.
Wolfpack did come back for the 11-7 win over Pacific in Game 1 on Friday. That's in their first strike. Peterson finds the zone. Five-game winning streak on the line here for Nevada. Fouled off above the Stanford dugout.
Stanford trying to snap a 6-game skid on their end. And this would be a good get-back win against a team that you could have had last time you saw them.
Payoff pitch misses low and away. Cruz will draw the walk, and the bases are loaded.
Oh, that's a hitter that Pearson really needed to get. You know, you don't want to allow too many free passes or too many freebies to these Nevada hitters because they are disciplined and they are hungry to try to look for pitches to drive.
One away here for Jackson Waller. Singled his last time up. Taking a first pitch ball. A sac fly RBI back in the 6th as well.
And double play situation is still in effect.
That one will catch the white. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. With the bases loaded. Just foul down the first base line.
And the fans still hanging around here at Sunken Diamond, catching their breath. Seeing that one come off the bat of Waller.
Has cooled off just a touch. Now at 59 degrees, so that's California winter for you right there.
A far cry for what they go through up in Reno. Especially with how this winter has been.
softly, and foul on the third baseline.
And Waller just knows that, I don't have to hit it too hard to sniff a base hit. As long as I put it in play, I can use the speed to my advantage.
Just protecting right now. Not every swing is trying to smack it. Trying to get some of those pitches that are too close to take with 2 strikes and get them out of there. Give yourself another chance. 1-2 again. This is time. It's deep into center. Is it deep enough for the tag? It is. So coming from third to score, standing up, as Kane will also advance over to third base. So another sac fly, second of the day, and a run comes across. 13-8 now.
Well, Jackson Waller able to win the at-bat there. It doesn't really put a dent in the deficit for Nevada, but at least it gets them closer. That bottom of the order, always lethal. Peterson just needs to work for this last out.
Down to their final out, the Wolfpack. And it's Nate Snakenborg, redshirt sophomore. Seen him behind the dish today, and he'll take strike 1 from Peterson. Has a hit, has a walk, has a run scored. 1 for 3 overall today. Chases the upstairs. Advantage, Peterson, 0-2.
You bring the high heat, so now you can really go anywhere with it if you're Colt Peterson.
Just off the plate outside. Great take from Snakenborg.
As Harrison Silverman not ready to go home. I don't know if he gets paid by the hour or by salary.
Here's the 1-2. That one's upstairs. So we are deuces wild now here in the 9th. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners aboard at the corners. The swing and a miss for the strikeout and the victory. Peterson shuts the door on the 13-8 victory for the Cardinal over the Wolfpack. Redemption and some redirection for Stanford as they improve to 6-10 overall this season. 13 runs on 13 hits with no errors for Stanford. Nevada, 8 runs on 11 hits and the 1 error. They drop to 8-6 on the season before they head into Mountain West play.
Yeah, big win tonight for the Card. They're able to erase the memory of giving up that last one against Nevada, but this is a lick back that I'm sure David Esker and the squad were looking for, knowing that they were going to run it back, and they did an excellent job at the plate tonight. 13 hits, 13 runs. We saw an improvement in the at-bats that they were having up and down the lineup. Everybody was able to do a job tonight to contribute with this win from the batting lineup to the bullpen. So for Stanford, this is a confidence booster. This is the win that you really wanted to get. So now you change the focus, just knowing you're back in conference play mode, and you're going to be facing against a team that's really riding high right now, that is going to be loaded with offense. So David Esker is really going to have to make a big strategy call to see who he wants to give the ball in this upcoming series against the Pitt Panthers.
And tonight it marks 8 straight multi-home run games. The offense from Stanford led by Jimmy Natai, 3 for 4, a couple of home runs, and 5 RBIs to contribute to this win here tonight. The Cardinal will move on to host Pitt for a 3-game slate and continue their ACC conference play. whereas Nevada will move on and go on the road to Fresno State to kick off Mountain West play. The top 2 teams picked in the preseason coaches poll going at it to kick things off. But what a fun night tonight, the ACC Mountain West clash. It goes in favor of Stanford. And thank you all for joining us on this Wednesday evening for a midweek moment. On behalf of our entire crew, my partner Philip Hall, I'm Jenna Becerra saying so long from Stanford. The Cardinal get the victory over the Wolfpack 13-8.